I like gold. The gold. But I love gold.
Like this, biatch.
Number one in the chat, it's that motherfucking OG. Fancy flippy floppy. I'll be with you in one moment here. Enjoy this beautiful photo for a couple more seconds. I love gold. Free Palestine in this bitch. Oh shit. Should probably mute the fucking mic when I'm coughing directly into it. All right. Show time. We're doing show stuff. Come on. Get your shit together, bro. I don't want to get my shit together. Welcome to the fucking show. I'm Abandoned Nihilism. This is the News Underground, the realest motherfucking news show on Twitch, bar none, easily. That's why we're at the bottom. That's why we're in politics, not just chatting. I'm not your father, okay? I'm not your brother. I'm not your best friend. I'm the asshole that constantly brings up politics. You wish you'd just shut the fuck up. All right, so this is where I belong. Yeah, so this photo's been going viral here for good reason. And it makes no money on Twitch on purpose. Well, that's the... Well, it's, hold on. One of these days I will be monetizing this. But the main reason why I don't take donations is because my view count is so small. It's like, what am I gonna milk the same like dozen people that come in here? You know what I mean? The same 12 or 13 people that come in here. Am I really gonna ask them for donations every single time? If the stream ever gets to be like 50 plus every stream, 100 plus every stream, then I'll pull out the monetization tools. But it would be cool to see you affiliate. I could click the button and make myself affiliate right now. But it's like when you're taking their money, you know, there's extra scrutiny. But really, they scrutinize me anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it like one of the reasons why you don't see advertisements on my stream like other popular streamers is because I'm not an affiliate. I think you watch an advertisement at the beginning when you click play, maybe. Yeah, but I tell you, if the stream were ever to have like 50 to 100 viewers consistently, you know, because like during big news events, sometimes we touch those kind of numbers once in a while, right? But usually day-to-day news stuff, it's like, nah, you know. But I don't care if it's one viewer. I don't care if it's 100 viewers. I'm grateful for every single one of you. So thank you. You're the real hero, okay? Thank you for your service. All right, but this image is going viral. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You know, he thinks this looks good. He thinks this makes him look rich. He thinks this, you know, and this is how tyrants have always thought. Tyrants with terrible vision, no creativity, right? You know, it's very Hitler-esque. Once again, we're talking, you know, very Hitler-esque, right? I know what looks good. Gold. Looks good. Make the whole room look like it's covered in warm piss. All right, so this is just how tyrants think. You know, it's about control. They have to have control over everything, and it's like, no, I know what's best. Like, no, and there's no subtlety here. You know, there's no accents. It's just gold, like probably just the gold leaf paper. You can use like a heat gun with some gold paper, put it on the surface, and then you just melt it on there. It's a slapdash job. Looks like shit. You know, looks like it took a lot of time and a lot of money to make it look even uglier. It's everything Trump is, so it doesn't surprise me one bit. And, you know, the bigger news, of course, is Zelensky in this, I don't know, Mafia Don suit. I don't know. I feel like this is like a Grand Theft Auto skin. You know what I mean? This is like option number 4 on the slider. I don't hate it. I think it looks good. It's a good compromise between, you know, his pledge to not wear a suit again as a politician until the war is won versus having to deal with Trump and his idiocy, you know, just trying to placate this toddler and all of his sycophants that surround him like a funeral for his fallen people. Yeah, it could be seen that way, but it worked. Trump was placated. The media that, you know, the asshole who asked him the question last time asked him again. He complimented him on his suit. So it worked. That's the thing that's really disgusting, is that the flattery works on DJT over here. It works. The guy's a human, okay, rat turd, all right? This shit works. Well, you know, I'm going to lower UK's tariffs because Keir Starmer gave me a piece of paper with the king's name on it. Yeah. I'm going to give Apple a break on the tariffs because they gave me this ridiculous-looking bauble. It's got a gold stand. One of a kind. Yeah. Anyone could have made that in a fucking shop, you know, like a shop class project could have made that stupid Apple trophy that he got. Oh, it's so elegant and beautiful. It's gold. He should probably remove these busts. You know, just go ahead and put Vladimir Putin up here, you fucking turd pile. Meanwhile, by the way, today, President Trump coming out with contradictory statements, right, about Putin, like criticizing Putin. Zelensky coming out here saying it was a pretty good meeting. So, you know, I don't know, man. You know, it really is the last guy that's in the room with him. You know, it really is. It's like Putin should just hop on a plane and do just a quickie follow up after the Zelensky one. And then I guess it's back to cutting Ukraine off. Like, I don't know how this. I really don't even know how it works, because he seems too cowardly. You know, and this might be the case overall. Like, because he seems too cowardly to really pull the trigger, and, you know, no pun intended, but to really cut Ukraine off and just let Russia roll over. You know, I don't know, it'd be nice. His version, you know, if to get some kind of peace here, but not with the concessions. Anyway, let's watch this.
Are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes.
So this is, of course, the right-wing media placating Trump. Those are the only people that are allowed in the room now. Maybe one AP reporter that doesn't get called on. Maybe one NBC, CBS, you know, related person that doesn't get called on. The only people that are front and center that get called on now are straight up right-wing propagandists. So here's yet another right-wing propagandists asking this totally dishonest question about elections during wartime, right? Because that's another right-wing pro-Russia talking point of, well, he's so anti-democratic. He's not holding elections while his people are scattered across the winds, and we're like crushing, you know, we're crushing people on the front lines. He won't even hold an election when he's being invaded. And of course, America doesn't do that. It's a very common practice to suspend elections when you're at war. It doesn't mean you're anti-democratic at all. And you know, of course, Russia would love an election because they would try to, you know, they would corrupt it as much as possible. They would take advantage of it. So, you know, money would be wasted. Probably cost Ukraine tens of millions of dollars. Right? Elections are not cheap. You know, and Zelensky might lose power. You know, his coalition might be whittled. It's not like he would lose the election. He would, if the election were held today, he'd still win. But he might lose power in his coalition. Russia would do everything to undermine, you know, undermine his coalition, to make him weaker, to make it harder to resist their invasion. So it's just literally a pro-Russia talking point. And here's the U.S. media and Donald Trump. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I got my thumbs all the way up my ass. Yeah, that's a good one.
Are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes.
And it's brilliant. He's clearly coached. He's ready for this shit now. He's definitely, like, the guy's hit the gym proverbially when it comes to politics, right? Because that's how you answer it. Yes, of course. But then he clarifies, you know, once we're done being invaded, sorry, you know, like, that's not happening. So brilliant response, handles it perfectly. You know, round two definitely goes to Zelensky here. It was a kind of a not covert, but more discreet charm offensive, right? We don't have any baubles to give Donald Trump, but we're gonna placate him in the ways that he would like to be placated. You know, what kind of toy does the toddler want, et cetera, et cetera. You know, whatever it takes. You want the lizard, you want the fucking cat, whatever you want, man.
We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
Lovely. Totally understand. Of course, the right wing are going to be like, oh, well, anti-democratic, tyrant, dictator, puppet. They always call him a puppet. You know you're dealing with someone who's either swallowing propaganda or intentionally repeating propaganda when they bust out the old puppet line. Puppet. So they're going to say that shit anyway. But that's how you do it. That's how you answer that properly, right? You don't get hung up on that at all. Because that will be used even further to their advantage. But they're going to, the narrative is, of course, always going to be he's a tyrant, he's a puppet, etc., no matter what he said. But how he responds is very important because, you know, does he leave himself open for further attack, right? Just, you know, backing up what I said earlier, right-wing propagandistic, pro-Russian media over here doing the work of Vladimir Putin. Like, is Fox News even getting a check from Moscow? They're just doing this shit for free. Pro bono, you know, anti-democratic, you know, propaganda against your country for free. But here's douchey, as I like to call him, hardest joke in the world to come up with. Here's douchey asking Zelensky, Aaron Rupar adding in an insanely loaded question, quote, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps? What? Are you fucking serious? Redraw the maps? You mean capitulate to an invasion? Allow the invading army to conquer our country? That's not redrawing the maps, you fucking bitch. And how about that? Keep sending Ukrainian troops to their death? You mean brave patriots defending their country from a fucking invasion? That's what you're talking about? You mean men that you know that are like making the ultimate sacrifice for the betterment of their entire society? The same kind of rhetoric that they use, of course, to defend Iraq war, everything, anything, you know, Vietnam. These douchey over here will defend Vietnam, right? And they'll be, how dare you? How dare you? Their sacrifice was for democracy. Their sacrifice was for liberty. Blah 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 blah. No, but describing a country being invaded by a fucking tyrant that you're doing free propaganda for. Oh, it's just suicide. It's just suicide to go up against the iron wall. The bear. Oh, the vodka-soaked bear. Oh, it's so unbelievably powerful. Who would ever fight them? Only a fool would. It's literally suicide. And Douchey knows the fucking numbers. He knows damn well that it's 1 to 3, 1 to 4 Russian deaths versus Ukrainian deaths and casualties. Knows damn well that the Russians just hit a milestone over 1 million casualties. That's wounded and dead. No, he knows all this shit. But he's put it upon himself as his network has put it upon themselves. Remember, they're doing this shit for free. $0. So he knows damn well what information to ignore and ask this incredibly loaded, insulting fucking question. And Donald Trump, I'm sure, nodded right along with it. Sorry, I don't have the video. This is just an image. We don't need to hear more of it. This is reassuring, though, what Zelensky said after the meeting in this awkward camera angle question. But whatever.
I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the
So Flumpy Tumpy's in the room, too. Great.
best one, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees, and we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here and security in Ukraine.
So do you see what he's doing? Do you see how he's including Donald Trump in the question? He's in a way redirecting attention back to Donald Trump, praising wherever we can praise. It's great. You're great. We, lots of positivity. This is how you deal with like a child who breaks out into temper tantrums. This is how you deal with narcissistic children, or just a narcissist in general.
Depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online.
And Trump absolutely soaking in it, dude. Fucking dripping in it. Couldn't love this more, right? This, you can't talk to him like an adult. You have to talk to him like he's the most important man in the world, right? Completely unearned. Everything about this guy is unearned. But he's America's id. It's seemingly like he's floating on a wave of negative energy generated from all the scumbags in this country. In such a weird way, this guy is America. And he's everything we need to fix about this country. The mentalities, the attitudes, the personalities, everything. Like he's the face of what we need to change. He's everything that's wrong with America. But right now, this is America, right? This is it. This is what we got to do. It's like, well, I don't like that. I don't want that. Well, there's something you can do about that, actually.
On those leaders who are with us in our hearts, they have been online before yesterday and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war.
That's how you do it. And as you can tell, he's not really listening to the words, right? Is he mentioning me? Is he looking at me? Are people looking at me? Do people think I'm smart? Do people think I'm strong? Yeah, I've been watching some DBZ. I really love the scenes, Dragon Ball Z scenes, especially the early episodes of Goku and Gohan. Gohan's still scared. He's scared to fight. And he's getting his ass kicked by one of the dudes, not Vegeta, but one of the other guys. And Goku comes in at the last minute to give him a sensu bean. It's just beautiful. I don't know. It's just it's funny because like canonically Goku is such a terrible father, but I don't know. It's very touching fatherly moments. And it just makes me think of my son. So I've been watching DBZ. On top of embarrassing the nation with these goddamn round table on camera shame sessions. Donald Trump just let it slip as well. We might just suspend the 2028 elections. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, you're getting invaded. We're getting invaded as well. Lots of people, brown faces, frightening stuff. They're all rapists. Watch out. Might just have to suspend the election 2028. Just kidding. Just trolling. Oh, you all think I'm going to be a dictator? Oh, what would make you think that I'm going to be a dictator? Come on, folks. Big W's. Nothing but wins around here. So that's all. No biggie, guys. No biggie, right? It's like you're in a room with a psychopath with a gun, and he starts making jokes about shooting you. You're like, ha 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 ha, hey, ho ho, you got me. Oh, I bet you're really fucking scared right now, aren't you? I could just put this gun right up to your head, fucking pull the trigger, and you'd be fucking dead. That's a good one, dude. I got nowhere to run. You can fucking kill me. That's crazy. Whoa. That's what it feels like. It sounds like Disco Elysium's background story. More Disco Elysium gameplay coming up, folks. Got to get back. That game blows my mind. Every 5 minutes, I'm like, holy shit, a human being wrote this? A human being? Like, because it feels so human. It's like I've never read anything that feels so human, Disco Elysium. But anyway, no. It's like Trump joking about suspending the elections is like being locked in a room with a fucking psychopath with a gun, and he starts making jokes about shooting you. He could do it. He might not do. Maybe he'll crap his pants and take a nap. Who knows, right? Who fucking knows? Who knows? Maybe today's the day that you remind him of his mother, and then he fucking blasts you, right? You never fucking know. Zelensky, how's life in Nazi Germany? Hey, Zeke, we're doing the Elon salutes, baby. Okay, we got to do the Elon salute. There he is. There's your boy. This is how we greet people now in America. Okay. Zelensky defeats Fetterman in the final battle for the not wearing a suit guys DBZ battle. I think this is a good compromise. Honestly, I do. I think this is a good compromise, right? Because he made a promise. And he's trying to keep that promise. He's like, I'm not putting on the suit until we've won this war. It was a beautiful moment. Nobody remembers it. And this man's attended funerals in the fucking, sweater vest. Not sweater vest, but in the sweater, like in the tactical sweater with the leather patches, right? So, he's committed. He's committed to this. But he's also dealing with an incredibly powerful toddler that, like I said, the psychopath in the room with the gun, right? At a whim, we got to keep him happy. We got to placate him. So I think this is a good compromise. It does look like funeral attire. He straight up looks like a fucking, pallbearer. He looks like a pallbearer at a funeral. But like I said, it worked. He got compliments from the dickhead who insulted this fucking jackass propagandist who had the fucking gall to make comments about Zelensky's clothing last time. He was like, oh, nice suit, and Donald Trump was placated as well. Looks like John Wick. He does got the John Wick thing going on. That's pretty fucking badass, right? Remember ADL said, don't worry about the salute. I remember when they said that, and then 6 seconds later, Elon Musk made a fucking another Holocaust joke. And then they had to come out and say, okay, but come on, man, please knock it off. Please. We're trying to make the Nazism work. Yeah, I remember. It happened weeks ago. Might as well have been months ago. It might as well have been years, right? It just this shit is traumatizing us. Okay? The entire country. You're either looking at this being traumatized or you're looking away, and you know damn well the fucking house is on fire. You know, you can feel the heat. You can feel the heat on your back. You're not looking at it, but you know something's going on back there. Like, we are all collectively being traumatized by this man. And, you know, it's wild to me because this is the moment in history, right? This is the time to either act or fail to act. Like, you know, like history has beckoned you. Okay? The clarion call is being rung, right? And like you, this is your moment. This is your moment. Like, I acted, I didn't act, right? This is your moment to say to say to history, this is what I'm made of. But fuck, man, it's frightening. It's legitimately frightening, and I'm not going to deny this is traumatizing. Paying attention to this madness, it's truly madness. I'm losing my fucking mind.
Upon peace, God willing, we get peace. Are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. We already did this part.
Legal.
Let me just say, so you say during,
Democratic, open, legal elections.
so you say during the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now, so you mean
He's like, yeah, jackass. I don't know why this is doing this, by the way. I don't know why. Okay, we're at 2K quality.
if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections. Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like
Don't point out any. Don't. Just let him talk.
this idea?
Yeah.
That was Trump previewing one strategy to be able to avoid having free and fair elections by being in the midst of a war. Now,
So that's what. Yeah. So he's like, oh, that's it. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. So look, no elections when we're at war. No, and he's of course. I showed you yesterday an article pointing out that he's using security. Security concerns as a justification for a myriad of things. So he's like, well, there you go. Look at that. Oh, well, yeah, look at that. If you're at war, democracy doesn't matter. Didn't you know that? So pipe down there, citizenry. 50. Is this just 24/7 Trump impersonation hour? Is that what we're doing? And my Trump impersonation is so shit. Holy shit! if I'm gonna do it this much, I need to practice. A 15-year-old was nearly being. Oh, that's disgusting. He's just a kid, and he treated him like a criminal for saying a documentary. Well, yeah. Well, it's gonna get worse. Trump is instigating. He is saying go harder. He is saying hurt people. He's saying I'll protect you. He wants that antagonization to be codified by law, right? The legal use of excessive violence. He wants that to go through the courts, and for the Supreme Court to say, no, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Crackheads, right? American citizen, who cares? Someone with a cell phone, 70-year-old lady with a cell phone, fucking beat her ass up. Donald Trump says go.
I know the response from the right is going to be, oh my God, he's just joking, and the alarmist libs are losing their minds over nothing. And that would carry some weight if Trump wasn't literally trying to undermine free and fair elections right now. If he wasn't demanding that states rig their elections by redrawing their maps mid-cycle, if he wasn't demanding an illegal mid-cycle census, if he didn't already literally try to seize voting machines in Georgia and stop the certification of the election.
Oh, yeah. It's like I told you, the midterms is going to be a complete mess, but they're treating it like a laboratory for what's going to happen, of course, at the end of the president's term. I hope the midterms continue to be a wake-up call for people. Every day seems to be a wake-up call. For some folks, looking away from the house fire example that I was giving you, right? Sometimes the heat just gets too hot and they turn around, they start paying attention. So Donald Trump is activating people every single day. But I don't think really until the midterms happen, until people really see how ludicrous it's going, democracy, democracy is not under attack. Democracy is like on the ground bleeding out. Okay? And it needs triage. And I don't think people are fully aware of that. And I think the midterms are going to be a big wake-up call for not just the normies, but I think for a lot of folks, a lot of, even political folks that are like, well, it can't happen. They're still like, it can't happen here, right? It's like a little bit of denial, a little bit of hope. Oh, well, maybe the system will self-correct magically. It's like maybe this is the strong one. right? All the other systems are weak enough to be bent by a toddler-esque fascist, right? They're incredibly weak, could be just barreled over. Supreme Court says do whatever the hell you want, no pushback, nothing, good to go. But the Electoral College is the strong one, guys. The Electoral College is the strong institution, right? Love the picture of the new flag, Trump. All right, I'm going to click this link, Nova Rider. Hold on. I got to be careful, man. I like you, Nova Rider, but you're still relatively new, and that's a Google link. Okay, all right. Yeah, kind of appropriate. Kind of appropriate, I'll say, right? I've ripped the Band-Aid off. Trump is Hitlerian. His style of leadership is fascistic. You know, it doesn't matter if they're too stupid to understand it, or they're too deluded, or, you know, like whatever it is. That Rose Garden shit is Hitlerian. Okay? End of story, end of discussion. That shit's right out of fucking Germany. Where's my boy Blue Brother when you need him, right? Blue Brother would back me up. He'd be like, yeah, bro, that marble column, white marble columns, yeah, dude, yeah, that shit's right. And then using the American fucking flag as the gutter grate. As the gutter grate. I swear to God, if I was president, second one after I would go directly from the inauguration, pick up a fucking pickaxe, and start destroying that monstrosity immediately. Within 5 minutes after the inauguration, I'd be digging that thing up. Then the second thing I would do is go in the White House and flip around every Donald Trump photo. Take off all the unnecessary ones. But in the presidential halls or wherever, like, you know, where every president gets this fucking picture, his ass gets to stay up there, but we're flipping it around. I want everybody to remember this fucking Boyle. But we don't have to look at his face anymore, because hopefully by that time he'd be 6 feet underground. But that'd be the number one thing that I would do is hand me my pickaxe. I'd, you know, make my pledge on the Bible, then hand me a fucking pickaxe, because I know exactly where I'm going. Every fucking one of them, Crail. I'd be stripping the gold off everything. Get this shit out of here. His fucking ridiculous portraits. A Trump presidential library. That ain't happening. You know what I would do? Maybe combine Biden and Trump's. Right? Make it a twofer. Make it like a fucking Taco Bell KFC situation. Because I honestly, you know, Biden deserves to be entangled with Trump because of his absolute failure to do a fucking thing about him. That's what I would do. I would make it a big public bathroom, call it the Biden-Trump Presidential Library, and it'd have about 5 seconds worth of actual information on some fucking shitty plaque somewhere on the wall while you're taking a piss. I'm a little angry.
And incite a fucking insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. You don't get to call the Democrats alarmists when Trump teases screwing with our elections after he literally already screwed with our elections.
Whoa, got a gun.
Like, I'm sorry, but take some fucking stock of where we are right
you
now.
Can't go
Just
nowhere,
6
you're
months
trapped.
into Trump's presidency, the U.S. military has been deployed to 2 major cities, masked men with no insignia and who refuse to identify themselves.
It's not even gilding. It's golden paint. You give me the source, Crail. You got to prove this. I thought it was gilding. They're not even taking actual gold and melting it on the fucking on the portraits. On the fucking accents and stuff on the wall. You're telling me that's not even real fucking gold? You're fucking with me. It can't be gold paint. No. At least please tell me it's the expensive gold paint that has like gold flakes in it or something. I mean, come on. It can't be paint. It's gilded, right? He took the time and money to hire somebody to gild it properly, right? If you're going to put gold on this shit, do it right, right? Yeah, strategy member. That's a great idea. He does like to cut corners. Someone, look, Crail, you got. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that. Thank you for the clip, Flippy Floppy. I'm not going to repeat that until I get some proof. You have to prove that one. Prove that he painted and didn't gild. Come on, you got to gild, man. Sorry, everybody. The Biden-Trump Presidential Library. Yeah, I'm serious, though. Like, you know, I can say these things because I know I'll never be put in charge, right? And thank goodness. But honestly, I think something theatrical needs to be done about, you know, in response to this. If we somehow make it out the other end, you know what I mean? And the sensible people retake control. You know what I'm saying, though? Right? It's like we got to do something, man. We can't just build him a presidential library and honor his wish to keep his $500 million corrupt gift from Qatar, the fucking airplane, because he's like, oh, my presidential library is going to own it. So we're just going to honor these wishes? Are you fucking with me? The man needs the toilet treatment. You know what I mean? I understand we're not going to be able to do this until he's dead. Okay? Right, I get that. I'm not that delusional. But we got to do something big and theatric to make the point that this is abhorrent. We're never going to do it again. Like never again, right? Like never again. Try to escape to Canada. Well, that's what I did, you know, in the first Trump, you know, it wasn't, I had it all set up way before Trump came along. I was moving to Canada in response to fucking Barack Obama. Constitutional lawyer pissing all over the Constitution, right? Making all the Bush administration bullshit legal and permanent. You know, I had enough with Barack Obama. But it just so happened to be timed. Like when I was moving, it was right in the middle of COVID, you know, right as Trump is like, you know, starting his first term. And it really did seem like I was like, oh, see, Trump's here. I'm leaving. It took many years to set that up. Anyway, let's finish. We're not going to do the whole thing, but let's hear a little bit more from BTC. We'll move on.
Are scooping up people off the streets. Tanks are rolling through Washington, D.C. Right. He's tried to eliminate birthright citizenship, which is literally in the Constitution. He's disappeared people with zero due process to foreign gulags. And just today, he claimed that our elections are run by him and that he signed an illegal executive order demanding the elimination of all mail ballots. I think the alarmist Democrat ship has sailed. And any commentator, any media outlet, any politician who isn't treating this moment with the urgency that it deserves is failing their constituents, their viewers, and their country.
That's right.
In fact, Trump's
So, hey, BTC, acknowledging that this is the reality, do you think you could go just a little harder on some of these fucking D-bag neoliberal Democrats that you're interviewing? So you fully understand the challenge of our time, BTC. Could you? I understand it's an access game. It's a game of access, and hey, I don't have access. They're not fucking talking to me. All right, so I'm not even getting my foot in the door. So like, I get your perspective as well. It's like, well, quit talking shit. You know, let's see you do an interview and then talk some shit. But at the same time, I've seen some of these interviews, man. And you do light pushback. You do more pushback than MSNBC and CBS combined. Okay, props where props are deserved. But I don't know, man. It's like, hey, about that casual, acquiescence to massive genocide. Do you have a comment to make about that? You know, I looked at your record, and it looks like you've taken $150,000 from Israel in the last 5 years. And would you like to make a comment on that? I found a picture of Trump without the mask. Whoa, got him. Got him. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. For fucking years I've avoided this shit. No, he's obviously, the thing about Trump, he's like the stupid Hitler. He's like the bizarro version of Hitler. If you ever know like the Superman, bizarro version of Superman, he's a fucking moron, right? That's what's going on here. And he's like, all this stuff is inherent too. That's what's trippy about Donald Trump. Like with Hitler, like things were like, okay, I'm going to act this way. I'm going to be this way. I'm going to try to Donald Trump, it all just comes natural. Like he's got the fucking ghost of Hitler inside him, you know? And it's like Donald Trump and Hitler fighting it, fighting inside Donald Trump here. No, Hitler. No, I don't want to do that. No, I want to do tariffs. Nine, don't do tariff. No, Hitler. No, Hitler, it's good. Tariffs are good. I saw a thing for 40 years ago. I saw 5 minutes of a documentary 40 years ago about tariffs being awesome. 9! No, you fucking idiot! Yeah, that's what's going on. Donald Trump is possessed by Hitler, but Donald Trump still has, control over it, but you can't get the voice of Hitler out of his head. God, this is all making perfect sense.
Desire to be a wartime president is already abundantly clear. Just days ago, before Trump's wartime quip, Gavin Newsom pointed out the extent to which Trump does view himself as a wartime
gift from his
president.
father.
It is about the United States of
Children's
America.
version of Mein Kampf.
He believes in the red states. He's going after. He's a war. He's a wartime president.
That's a good.
He's
I'm
the head of
writing
a war
that down,
party.
dude.
War on women.
Hold
war
on.
voting rights. War on Hispanics.
I got to write that
A
down.
war on this state. War on institutions. War on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh yeah.
That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American people? He put military in the streets, not of Baghdad. He didn't send the military in his first administration anywhere in the world. He sent the United States Marines into the United States of America in one of the bluest cities in this country in Los Angeles.
And hey, big props to your boy BTC, okay? This is a big get, dude. Okay, this is him directly in the fucking zeitgeist now. All right, so big props to your boy coming up from the motherfucking mud. All right, look at this guy over here. This dude could very well be president, right? And this interview is being broadcast all over mainstream, right? This is the get of the century. Okay, so big props to your boy. I just don't want to look. I just don't want to see you bend an inch more to the establishment. Okay, you're right up against the establishment. Okay, right. You have more credibility than Chris Hayes. You have more credibility than Wolf Blitzer. Please, for the love of God, don't go Jen Psaki. Okay? Don't go that far. Please, BTC. If you can stay perfectly laser beam focused in this, like, right up against power, but still willing to criticize it, but in a nice, genteel way. Okay? You might be able to make something of it, okay? But if you go full Jen Psaki, if you go full Chris Hayes, dude, you're just another one. You know what I mean? You're just another one. So I love you, BTC. This is a huge get for him. Massive. Maybe, I don't know. This is kind of an important interview. What the fuck's going on with the hair, bro? Whatever. Look at me. I'm talking about his fucking hair. Look at this shit. I'm talking about your fucking hair. Okay, anyway, BTC. Congratulations. One news guy to the next. This is a big get. Good for him.
Into the United States of America in one of the bluest.
No, Nova Rider. No. You know, look, let's be real. Let's be real. No, there's no plan for eradication. There's no death camps. Let's keep things grounded. He's building concentration camps. And he has a massive deportation regime. Those concentration camps will start holding American citizens. The conditions in those camps are going to be terrible. It's going to be a pretty far leap to, to death camps and extermination and just like summary execution and fucking mass graves. Like a mass grave outside San Francisco. We're pretty far away from that, but let's not get it twisted. What is Donald Trump doing? He's saying ICE, crackheads, police, crackheads, military, crackheads. That is an escalation, and there will be responses to that. That's not a threat. That's not me threatening anything. This is me just observing history and how societies, especially societies that are accustomed to democratic, liberty. They're accustomed to having their liberty and then having that liberty taken away. The response to that will absolutely be aggressive. We'll just say that, okay? We'll just say it's going to be aggressive, okay? Welcome back, Smash. Good to see you.
Cities in this country, in Los Angeles, one of the great cities, American cities. That's what Donald Trump did. He is a wartime president.
So I beg of everyone, do not allow Republicans to manipulate you into thinking that Donald Trump is just joking when he says things that A, he would love to do, B, he basically tried to do, and C, he likely will do. We gain nothing by allowing ourselves to be fooled. And in fact, we gain everything by waking up to the reality of the political environment that we are in right now.
This your boy.
That's a point that Newsom understood when he said this during our latest interview.
Okay, all right, we might be, okay, the rhetoric is on point. Timing is, Johnny come lately over here. It feels a little desperate. The rhetoric is on point, but come on, man. Why do we got to be so generous to fucking Slick Willie Clinton 2.0 over here? You know, I get it though. I don't know, right? Like, we kind of need hope. We kind of need positivity, right? If I was in charge, I might put BTC in front of me in terms of like PR and visual, you know, like just because like not everybody. Look, the regulators in the chat, you guys have the balls to hear this shit, but not everybody wants to hear that. Your grandma doesn't want to hear this shit. You know, she's drinking her glass of wine. She doesn't want to hear me say motherfuck 700 times, you know?
Now, that's a point that Newsom understood when he said this during our latest interview.
It's just like,
There's literally no more evidence than you need than the evidence that has been submitted in the first 6.5, 7 months of the Trump administration. And you think this is going to get better? You think if we just say, oh, well, Mr. Trump, it's fine. You know, we know it's a race to the bottom. You know, you may call upon those other states. Can you just do 5 and California will stand down?
Yeah.
God damn it, enough. Yeah. Democrats,
I agree.
Stop being weak.
I agree.
Step up. These guys have been dominating the narrative. They have been defining the terms of the debate.
Yep.
It's time to get on our off our heels, onto our front toes. It's time to do just that. Dominate the narrative, flood the zone, and surround sound. It's time for us to all band together. I said that.
He's right. He's right. I don't like this man. I was governed by this man, and I found him to be wanting. Okay? Where's AOC? Where's AOC saying this shit? Okay? Bernie, he's talking about the oligarchy, but he's not talking about like we gotta get dirty. We gotta flood the zone. We have to respond. We have to drive this narrative. I don't think AOC or Bernie would disagree with what Gavin is saying, but we need someone pressing forward. We need a tip of the spear. We need someone who's going to be visual, who's going to be taking heat, sticking their neck out. Okay, being a target to this fascist regime. And it looks like Gavin Newsom's like, this is my moment. This is my time. I either act now or I just turn into a Hakeem Jeffries, a Cory Booker, who's like, I'm a slick talker, but my party is basically functionally doesn't exist anymore. And, we're under the boot heel of a fascist regime that has 100% cemented its power. And we had brief opportunities to act, but I never really jumped on it. Right. So that's Gavin Newsom making a calculation here. He's making the right calculation. Where was this guy fucking years ago? Right. But this is it. This is the moment. You're either acting or you're getting defeated. So Gavin Newsom's making a move here. You got to respect it. You got to respect the chutzpah. But it's not just the Twitter presence, we got to get in the streets. You got to become an actual disruptive gadfly. It's not going to be enough to just do some social media and then hope the elections go your way. And the gerrymandering response is great, but honestly, it's going to take something that Gavin Newsom has never done, which is actual, not just messaging, not just getting in front of a podium or behind a podium in front of a crowd and making some slick speech with the team, with a massive team behind him. Right? It's going to take you need to be arrested by ICE, Gavin Newsom. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, right? ICE needs to be handcuffing this guy, tackling him. That's the kind of level that we're going to need here to get the response necessary from the people who are asleep. It's confirmed that Trump paid people, including her, to attend his birthday parties. It's embarrassing. I mean, look, but it's all about image, right? Because it's like Trump doesn't even personally care if he paid for celebrities to be there. He's going to blast you over and over. Well, I had birthday parties that were filled with celebrities. How many celebrities came to your birthday party, bitch boy? That's right. And you can't even afford one celebrity to come to your party. I can afford to have dozens. You're a loser. You're a loser. Right? I mean, this is the guy that went to a cemetery filled with heroes, and he said, why would you do this? Why would you die? Why would you die for your country? Why? These people are suckers, absolute fucking rubes. I don't want to be hanging around a bunch of loser energy. Right? Who would sacrifice their life for something greater? That's absolutely ridiculous. I would never do that. This is who we're dealing with.
This is not no do-over. This is it.
Yep.
Wake up.
Yeah,
to
dude.
what's
Yes.
going on in this country.
God, yes. Okay. All right. All right. Next step, Gavin. Don't just sit on your fucking hands and tweet like Donald Trump until the midterms, dude. It's over a year for the midterms, right? How many months? What? 13, 14 months? So we got a long fucking haul here, Gavin. So yeah, it's great that you're starting this early. It's absolutely needed. All right, but it's not going to carry you to the very end.
And I'll iterate, I'll try anything. That's what that represents. I'm just trying to break through, man. I'm just trying to be accountable.
Those fucking teeth, dude. What the I feel like those teeth are cleaner than my fucking dinner plates, dude. I could eat a fucking meal off those things. What the fuck, man? How does that feel in your mouth? Does it feel like glass? They look like they're made of glass. Anyway.
To be able to look at my kids, said, you know, I woulda, coulda, shoulda, know that I did everything I could. And you know what? See what fate brings. But we're going to put everything on the damn line. And that's, you know, why I'm proud.
Donald Trump was convicted technically of sexual assault in the state that it happened. The state does not consider that officially rape. But you tell me, if Donald Trump, if you were a woman, came up to you, put his hands down his pants, and started fingering your vagina, you tell me if you would consider that rape or not.
Proud of the folks from Texas, and that's why I'm proud of folks showing up at the No Kings rally. People haven't given up yet. I'm telling you, we can win. We're going to do this. We can win this November. We can win next November, and then we can get this country back on track.
So I hope that other governors, other legislators, other lawmakers, other senators, every other elected official on the left sees that forward-leaning posture and replicates it. And I will highlight it on my channels and my pages as much as I need to.
Nobody's in the house but me, so I get to smoke in the house, dude. Big win. Big win. Single dad win. No, wait, I'm not a single dad. What the fuck is wrong with me? I am too high. I need more marijuana.
So that hopefully the attention Newsom is getting offers an incentive structure to other elected officials to do the same. If you present yourself as a fighter, you'll have a platform on my show. Because I know I speak for a lot of people on the left in saying that we are sick and tired of being the party of strongly worded letters. We are sick and tired of putting up with half-assed fights that ultimately end in capitulation because of norms or the parliamentarian or the filibuster. You never see those things stop Republicans. So often it feels like Republicans won't allow anything to tell them no, while Democrats will look for any excuse not to get to yes. I spoke with Mehdi Hassan about this phenomenon. Here's what he had to say. Mehdi, do you think that what we're seeing right now from some of the Democrats out there are a few governors who are vowing to fight back against what Texas Republicans are doing? We see Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker. We've seen to some degree Kathy Hochul in New York, although she's limited by.
So the reason why I have Ukraine not fucked up here, question mark still, is that there's actually a couple other Ukraine clips we're going to get to. But fuck, man, I want to hear what Mehdi has to say. Zateo, do you need a burned out early 40-something, smokes weed, and has a lot of angry opinions about politics to work for you? I'm just asking. I'll shave my beard and I won't even wear the same shirt for 3 days in a row. I promise, Mehdi. Look, I'm a professional. You're don't you need this on your network to completely delegitimize you? All these intellectuals and this guy.
What New York's Constitution allows them to do, although I would also make the argument that Republican states have been limited by what they're able to do, and they've done it anyway. We saw unconstitutional maps enacted in Louisiana and Alabama, and still they did that at such a late time that even though the courts noted that they were unconstitutional gerrymanders, it was too close to the election for them to change it. They relied on the Purcell doctrine. So I think if there was really a desire to get this stuff done, we don't have to look far.
18 viewers? You guys rule. Oh, 17 viewers. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I didn't want to do a stream for you anyway. 17 viewers. Thank you. You guys rule. Thank you so much. We didn't need that 18th viewer. They can just whatever, dog. What, Amaranth started streaming? What's your problem?
Hard to see what it looks like when those Republican governors get it done. But that notwithstanding, do you think that that we're seeing something of a sea change among Democrats who have for so long been the party of strongly worded letters?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Exactly, Tay-Tay.
I'm going to reserve judgment till I see some actions back up those words.
Oh, God, I love this guy. He said exactly what I said, but he said it like smart and stuff. He said it the smart way, right? He didn't just belch something out into the fucking microphone like a drunken moron, right? He said it the smart way, which is like, back it up. I'd like to see something. No overrider, that's a YouTube video. Come on, I can't be clicking everything you put in here, and then he clicks it.
Please help me welcome.
Bro, this guy's a piece of shit. Jeff Dunham. Jeff Dunham's friend is Donald Trump's personal advisor. This is going to be a pro-Donald Trump thing. I'm not watching this right now, but I'm actually curious. I'm putting it in the Discord. And I will watch this later. But I fucking hate Jeff fucking Dunham, dude. Okay, he's a piece of shit. Make fun of him. I'm not your puppet. I am not your puppet, Jeff Dunham. It's the Nova Rider. You're Jeff Dunham, aren't you? You're fucking self-promoting in here, aren't you? Hey, you should. Hey, I'm just saying you should watch some Jeff Dunham. He's a pretty funny guy. He's a pretty funny guy. Just saying. I'm just saying he's a pretty handsome, funny guy.
So I'm going to reserve judgment till I see some actions back up those
Fuck
words.
yeah, Mehdi.
Illinois Governor Pritzker, New York Governor Hochul, and California Governor Newsom have all said the right things. Now they just got to do it. As you say, there are some limitations, but these are the same limitations that Republicans overcome all the time. You and I, at the Zateo event in LA, talked at great length in front of the audience about the Senate parliamentarian and how Senate Democrats deferred to the parliamentarian and said, well, she said we can't do a minimum wage increase. She said we can't put this in our bill. Republicans came along and they refused to even meet with the parliamentarian when they did their big ugly-ass bill. So that is the difference in the two parties. I hope, and I've said this before to you and to others, I hope Democrats learn the right lessons from this period of opposition, that when their opponents get into power, they're not limited by conventions or norms or all the other things that now seem so...
I'm not laughing at Mehdi. I'm just laughing at the idea that the neoliberals are going to learn anything. Look at Hakeem Jeffries this very second. Tell me that man has learned anything. Tell me that man exists. I look into those eyes and I see the void. I see the blank fucking void, dude. I feel like he's possessed with that black ooze from the X-Files, man. The fuck is going on? Someone wake Hakeem Jeffries up. Fucking Rapunzel over here. No, wait. Which one's the one that's sleeping? Which one's the one that sleeps? Oh, Sleeping Beauty, you fucking idiot. Fucking moron.
Quaint and antiquated. And you can't play this whole moral high ground game. We're like, well, you know, they're going to do this stuff, but we're going to stay pure.
Absolute zero. And Hakeem Jeffries loves that. Fucking Nancy Pelosi loves that. Sorry, we're going to back it up so we don't interrupt Mehdi anymore. But absolute zero. Like, that's the status quo that they want to go back to. It was like, well, you know, Republicans would cut taxes and then we would give people a little bit of a break and fix their problems and they would fucking ruin things and then we would fucking come back and, you know, do a half-ass job. Pretending that there's nothing we could do about the tax cuts, you know, holding progressivism at bay. It was a pretty sweet fucking setup for several decades, right? Everyone was getting rich. Everyone was getting a fucking career, right? Everyone could get a little slice. And that's the status quo that they want to go back to, right? And they don't want to let it go. Hakeem Jeffries is the poster boy for not wanting to let go of this status quo. That's never coming back. Even if Donald Trump is not defeated, the gravy train is ending for the Democratic Party. So Nancy Pelosi needs to fucking kindly step into the fucking grave. Okay, so we can get back to the fucking business of our lives.
Or norms or all the other things that now seem so quaint and antiquated. And you can't play this whole moral high ground game. We're like, well, you know, they're going to do this stuff, but we're going to stay pure. Doesn't work like that. You do that and you lose. And it's worse than just losing. You do that and you abandon your constituents who need you.
We've spoken about this idea that
Mehdi's a genius.
What the future of the Democratic Party is going to look like is not necessarily whether progressivism wins out or a more moderate posture wins out, but rather this idea of Democrats who are actually going to stand up and fight. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the future of the Democratic Party is not so much like the monolithic nature of your political ideology, but rather just your willingness to like go balls to the wall?
Yeah, I've been saying that for a
Yep.
while. I said that when Democrats were in office as well. I think
Yes.
the left-right dimension is still important in
Yes.
policy terms, for sure. But in terms of saving American democracy, standing up to the Republican Party, it's less relevant. It's about who actually has the balls,
Oh my
the
God,
backbone,
I'm getting
the
naked.
ability, the desire.
Okay, that's what's happening.
The
I'm taking
communication
my
skills
clothes
to actually
off.
take the fight to the other
Yes.
side and fight on their terrain, not your own terrain.
So I hope this is a message loud and clear to every Democrat out there. We
Oh
are
my
tired of
God,
being
I'm
rolled.
completely
We are tired
nude.
of the strongly worded letters. We are tired of losing. Stand for something and fight for it. And most importantly, recognize the urgency of this moment. We are contending with a
Hell
very,
yes!
very serious threat to democracy. Trump is not joking when he says that he wants to cancel elections. He is testing the fence. He is normalizing us to this idea, very much in the same way that deploying troops to DC and LA is going to normalize us to soldiers occupying our own country. Part of leading this
Slam
moment is
dunks.
being eyes wide open aware of the threats that we're
Slam
contending with.
dunks.
Trump is not a comedian, he is an autocrat. And the faster we accept and recognize that, the faster we can fight back with the urgency that this moment calls for.
So check it out, Nova Writer. That's a good question. Okay.
Before you go,
Okay, no. Make sure you subscribe, like, and subscribe to BTC, y'all. Motherfuckers, like I said, straddles the line, right? Straddles the line of establishment and independent. And like I said, if he stays on the lane that he created, because I mean, this is razor thin over here, okay? He's just barely acceptable by MS now. So big props to your boy BTC. Thank you so much for letting me literally steal your entire clip. It took me an hour to get through it. I don't care. That's some good shit. Pass that Ducci. But no, let me answer your question here, Nova Rider. What's the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party? The Republican Party is a fascistic, authoritarian party. They are right wing, and they go in the direction of right wing movements that that we've seen throughout history. More authoritarianism, police state, massive corruption, and in the case of the Republicans, pedophilia. The neoliberals have embraced neoliberalism, the Reagan-esque, Ronald Reagan style economic model and style of governance. And, they're totally down with the military-industrial complex. They're totally okay with, Israel and what's happening over there. But they draw the line at, creating an extremely weak and subservient middle class that barely exists because they believe in that neoliberal style of economics. They believe in having a really strong and large and well-funded middle class, a happy, healthy middle class. So they try to do that. Now, notice that I said middle class. Neoliberalism is totally okay and actually kind of benefits from having a massive population of lower class people that are underpaid, underskilled, and they have to pay for their own education, their own training to get into that middle class region. So that's the big difference, is that the right-wing conservative Republicans are fascistic, authoritarian conservatives, and the Democrats are corporatist neoliberals who, are slavishly adhering to the Clintonian almost style of neoliberalism. Don't be sorry to ask. It's a good question. Hey, you know what's fun? Watching Ukraine kick Russia's ass. How about that? How about we get back to the segment here and talk about Ukraine kicking a little ass. Yeah, absolute zero. But I would just add that they, the masters are different. The Republicans, there are the Mark Cubans who would prefer democratic style neoliberalism, and then of course there's the Koch brothers, who are like, no, we want authoritarian fascism, or Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. Right, we want full-blown authoritarian fascism, police state. Peter Thiel wants to inject a chip into you. He wants to judge your ability to produce. He wants to euthanize you as soon as possible, as soon as you become useless to his machine. They're that dangerous. I mean, they really are that dangerous. They're completely fucked up people. They always exist. That's and that's one thing I want to stress. is that they've always existed throughout time in perpetuity. They will always exist, and that's why we need robust systems that have checks and balances, that are there's separation of powers. You know, we don't need a new constitution. We need to just restore the existing one because it was exactly the way you do things. Okay. American-style constitutional democracy is one of the best worst systems mankind has created for allowing the most maximum amount of liberty while also creating a system of security and peace that can allow for that to happen, right? It gives you enough to be like, okay, I'm in somewhat control here. I'm one of millions, but I do have a voice. I still count. Right, and the systems reflect that. Because the system should reflect the needs and the will of the voters. And right now, of course, they're diametrically opposed because of et cetera, et cetera. Let's watch Ukraine kick some Russian ass. Yeah, absolute zero. It's a dichotomy that's intentionally created by oligarchies, by the rich, by those who want to influence. It's a way to further divide and conquer. But we're getting way up there. We're getting way up there.
Recently, Russian forces conducted a massive push to cut off Ukrainian supply lines to Pokrovsk and starve out the defenders. However, Russians quickly got stuck in fortifications that guard the back of the Ukrainian defense line, with intense close-quarters battles breaking out. Euromaidan press media outlets said. In the latest adjustment of their summer offensive, Russian forces are now concentrating their efforts on encircling Pokrovsk from the east, despite being initially promising. The failed encirclement efforts from the west and unsuccessful infiltration attempts from the south were both successfully pushed back by Ukrainian defenders. Ukrainians
So that's amazing. It's kind of hard to hear robot AI voice here, but no, it's amazing. Massive mess, and I didn't report on this initially, but I think it was Quick Double Tap or someone was nice enough to bring it up in the video game stream I did late last night. Check it out. Bonus streams. I don't announce them on the Discord. Hidden streams. You know how we do things. We played the best games ever. Literally the best game design. I'll let you surprise you with it, but it's the best game ever, dude. That's the game that I've been playing lately. So tune in for those late night hidden streams. Anyway. Someone brought up Russia did a big move into Pokrovsk, and they, initially it looked like it was going to be a win, but Ukraine was actually able to push them back. And it's amazing, they've been doing this, since the hoedown at the fucking machine factory, where they punish Russia maximally. If Russia wants to take a position, especially by force, and really roll in there, they got to go so hard, and it costs them so dearly every single time, right? We saw it in Bakhmut as well. But every one of these positions where they're lining up troops, they're ready to go, they're being harassed constantly. Like, they're not even allowed to stay static. Like, they got to come in like a bat out of hell for miles and miles and expect harassment right away. Kill counts outrageous. Fucking machines getting blown up every second. It's a fucking massacre. It's a massacre. And in this case, Ukraine was able to hold out. I can't stress to you how much Russia threw at these motherfuckers, okay? All right? Total fucking chaos. Just picture yourself in a trench with a fucking machine gun like a saw, and you're working all day. Like, that's a 14-hour day, dude. And then you get like a 4-hour little nap, wake up, get a snack, and you're right back to it, dude. It's a constant wave after wave after wave. Hundreds, thousands of explosive drones, right? Pilots going 24/7, right? Probably drinking energy drinks and shit. Doing coke, probably. Could you imagine like the full nerd setup that these drone guys got set up? They're fucking surrounded by Monster energy drinks, killing Russians every fucking, hour. They're like blasting into, could you imagine the setup, right? Because they got the goggles on. They're in some trench somewhere, right? They got the fucking remote control, slamming Monster while flying drones into tanks. It's fucking crazy. Is what I'm trying to stress. And like, you're not seeing the bodies, right? Because this is all sanitized and cut out of YouTube, because that's how we got to roll, right? I'd love to show you the reality, which is it's just a fucking massacre.
Standing, stalling further
And it's all because of Putin,
which changed Russia's strategy toward targeting logistics on the western flank.
Yeah,
however, the
salty
same
bread,
cannot
exactly.
be said for the eastern flank. After
It's
making headway there,
nuts.
Russian
It's
forces
nuts, dude.
rapidly shifted their focus to this sector, capitalizing
I
on
can't
their
stress
momentum
that enough.
to push
It's a slaughter.
deeper and reach the strategically vital settlement of Radinsk. Euromaidan Press says their objective is now clear: cut supply lines, threaten Pokrovsk and Mirnohrad from behind.
And let's not get it twisted. They will take Pokrovsk, right? Just like they took Bakhmut. But the strategy that Ukraine's been employing extremely successfully is that anytime they want to take any of these major key locations, they have to pay dearly, dearly. And even in the case of a full-blown, fully planned, set up logistics, like they did they set up, right? Even in the case of a fully planned, fully supplied push, they're unsuccessful, at least temporarily, right? Because of course the Ukrainians had to back up, but they're smart, right? While they're setting up forward positions and holding those, they're doing the best that they can to set up secondary and thirds. Like they're there, they're there for the long haul. Every inch Russia takes, they have to pay dearly. It's wild, man. I mean, and no one's really getting it. It's actually totally bananas what's happening over there. Like Vietnam was one thing, right? We see all these apocalypse now. It's like, wow, that's fucked up. This is like 4x Vietnam. What's happening? This front line is hot, red hot, all over that front line, dude. It's nuts what's happening right now over there, and we're barely getting a taste of it.
And forced the Ukrainian defense into a semi-encircled position. Radinsk has emerged as a focal point in Russia's operational plan due to its position directly behind Pokrovsk and Mirnohrad, which allows it to serve
Democratic
as a logistical
Socialism,
and
Nova
tactical
Rider.
keystone for both towns. Capturing it would open a dangerous axis of advance from the rear, collapsing.
Democratic Socialists have absolutely no problem with capitalism. What we're totally happy with, though, is we have lots of problems with capitalism. Let's be real, but no, in terms of governance, it's not a either or. It's just, do the people, how much do the people want to regulate capitalism? How much do the people want to tax capitalism? Do they want to restrict and regulate capitalism? Capitalism isn't allowed to exploit in this way. Capitalism isn't allowed to exploit in that way. Democratic Socialists would have no problem acknowledging the reality that capitalism is inherently exploitative, right? But I squeaked that one out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we would want to eradicate it, because, the most important word in the title is democratic. It's really up to the people how far they want to go.
Supply routes and placing additional pressure on Ukrainian units holding the line. For now, however, the main Russian effort remains squarely focused on breaking Ukrainian resistance in Rodinsk. The
Right
fierce
now,
battle
salty,
for the
yeah. It's like
settlement
we can't,
has already begun, with high intensity.
It's like being an alcoholic, right? You don't just go cold turkey if you're a stone cold everyday alcoholic, because your fucking body will shut down. And it's the same case with capitalism. Can't just rip it out tooth and nail. I mean, it's ironically we're getting a little experiment in what that looks like, because Trump's tariff regime is in direct conflict with the established neoliberal economic order. So it's obviously not. It's in certain weird ways, it's starting to become very communist. Even beyond democratic socialism, right, into full blown communism. He's starting to sound like Mao over here. Command control economy, right? Is that what it's called? Command control or whatever the fuck, right? Where it's just basically, the dictator tells a company, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. Pretty wild stuff. But no, democratic socialists, it's like, no, what do the people want? People don't want, the fucking U.S. government to make children's toys, but so we got to allow those companies to exist, but I think the key difference between a neoliberal and a democratic socialist when it comes to capitalism is the acknowledgement that capitalism is exploitative. right? It's inherent to capitalism that it's going to it extracts and eats and takes. Where a neoliberal is like, what are you talking about? Well, it's so great, everything's great, capitalism's so good, everyone's getting rich, it's so great, right? And meanwhile, like I said earlier, the neoliberalism is heavily dependent on an incredibly large population of poor people to keep the fucking wheels turning. So it's like, that's not very great. Like, you know, I don't want to get a burger at Wendy's if the person's getting $7 an hour. That's fucked up, right? Well, not every job needs to be a living wage job. Fuck you, it does. It absolutely needs to be. 8 hours is enough, you fuck. Anyway, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. You get what I'm saying?
Engagements playing out on its eastern approaches. Overall, Pokrovsk remains the hottest section of the front line and the focal point of Russia's summer campaign. The Russians are determined to establish a foothold in the paved neighborhood.
BlackRock masturbates to Donald Trump's economic, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, someone, I don't really understand how, are the tariffs negatively affecting real estate markets, or are they positively affecting, they got to be negatively affecting the real estate markets because builders are now paying more for everything. It's more expensive. Sure, red tape and regulations might be getting cut, so you don't have to spend as much on safety when building a house, so you can save millions that way. But cost of materials is going to go up, so that definitely affects the real estate market. So I don't know if BlackRock is totally cool with the tariff regime, but that doesn't matter. You know what I've seen overwhelming support though from Wall Street and corporate America for this full-blown fascism. They're like, if only he would shut up about tariffs, we would be fucking doubling over, and doing backflips. We'd be super stoked about this. They love the fascism. They love it. They love Donald Trump and the favoritism, and and it's great. Give us a deal, punish everybody else, let us consolidate. Oh, we'll fire Stephen Colbert, and then you'll approve our incredibly illegal and disgusting and fucking gratuitous merger of these two massive conglomerates. More consolidation. Making things less interesting and more expensive. That's what the result's going to be, because that's why they're doing it. The more control you have, the more you can lock people in and charge them more. So they love this. They actually love this shit. Look at how easy Wall Street has been on Donald Trump. They're like, we don't need to sell right now. It's okay. He's tacoing now. He'll taco on this, or we'll work our way around this. If this tariff regime was implemented by a Democrat, I feel very confident in saying that there would be oligarchs dumping shit and making big, splashy moves on the market that would rattle things. But it's an orgy right now. People are making a fucking shitload of money. But I keep showing you experts. I keep hearing these people that are like, something ain't right. Like there's the stagflation. I keep hearing stagflation mentioned. I keep hearing recession mentioned. I keep hearing the bond market. It's like, I don't know, something we should talk about the bond market, right? Something ain't right with that. I keep hearing about the currency being challenged, and it's like, okay, I don't know, and like, of course, and the fact that Wall Street's making a lot of money, but you're not making any money. I'm not making any fucking money, right? And that's how it's always been. So it's like, okay, well, there's that reality as well. It's like, we're doing great. We're doing great. Yeah, you're doing fucking great. Good for you. Gilding the fucking wall in gold paint. Gold paint, not even real gold, you shameful piece of crap. God.
Before the fall rains make any approach.
All right, that's the end of this AI video. Let's get to the next one here. This is a full breakdown of what happened in Pokrovsk, and I need to stress to you, this shit's, we're going to see like the sanitized animated map here, but, picture some real-ass shit happening. Some people blowing up, all that shit, dude. All the nasty war shit happening right now, probably as we speak. Yeah, they're the same shit. They're, two sides of the same coin. They're doing the same thing. They'll probably eventually fucking, combine like Akira, have control of 50% of the real estate market. That's probably some devious goal that they have. Like, we'll have 50% of the homes. That's where we'll start. That'll be phase one.
The biggest news comes from the Pokrovsk direction. Here, the Azov Army Corps has taken up full operational control over stabilizing the Russian breakthrough at Pokrovsk.
Whoa.
With the situation reaching critical levels and threatening to overturn a year of Ukraine's fortification work, Azov and its battalions are immediately getting to work on smashing the Russian salient back across the river.
Change the logo, guys.
As Russians took Ukrainians by surprise, they broke through 18 kilometers deep behind the Ukrainian front line and penetrated through Ukraine's new Donbas defense line while it was unmanned. However, as the reality of the situation got through to the Ukrainian high command,
so it was an opening, and they just did a suicide run. Classic Russian tactics, right? No real military would want to do this because this would destroy morale. Oh, did you hear what happened? They just threw wave after wave of us into this fucking gauntlet of death. And then they left us, and then we were surrounded immediately, like we're a bunch of fucking amateurs and slaughtered. Like, oh man, I can't believe the military treats us that way. But in the Russian military, it's like, just another day, get fucked, you dumbass. And they're Russia's showing propaganda of wives being like, oh, this is the new life hack, get hooked up with a soldier, get married, pretend you love him. He gets hauled off to war, he dies, and then get fat paid. Widdly, wow. I showed you that shit, what was it, yesterday or the day before? That's insane, completely insane. Yeah, I know. There be monsters. That's what we've been talking about. It's just how shameful the whole, because it's just Donald. It's like, it's amazing to me because it's a golden opportunity to be the badass that defeats Russia without even getting a single U.S. soldier killed. Like the scenario is on the table, right? Just turn up the heat, pour on the fucking steam, get NATO involved, et cetera, et cetera. Like if we just had leadership instead of cowardice with Joe Biden and of course Donald Trump, if we just had a leader that had just 1% of Patton in him, right? Just 1% of real sack. He could see the chessboard and this golden opportunity to be the guy that says, no, Vladimir Putin, you actually don't have this power. And look at how easy you get spanked, right? Like, don't even try this stuff. Like, it could have really been the most disrespectful military backhand in modern history. And this golden opportunity was squandered by Joe Biden, who knew it was on the table because he's smart enough to understand the geopolitics. And then, of course, by Donald Trump, who thinks it's 1981, he's doing quaaludes, and people give a shit about the strength of Russia. He also seems like he wants to govern like Putin as well. So I think there's just some admiration from dictator to dictator on that one. But he has, this golden opportunity just left on the table to rot, where could you imagine? You could be the badass American president that just no, Vladimir Putin, no thanks. They're a friend of ours, right? Back to the drawing board. Oh, nukes, we're so scared of your fucking nukes. You know exactly what'll happen if you launch a nuke, you pussy. And then push that, and then allow the Ukrainian military to push them back, because that's what it is. These guys are fucking hamstrung by Donald Trump and the rest of the fucking idiots, right? Oh, escalation. And it's been nothing but a wide open opportunity for Vladimir Putin for Vladimir Putin to do this, and he's in too deep now. He's in way too fucking deep now. So it's just, I just have a lot of problems with the current situation. It just drives me completely bananas.
They acted quickly and redeployed Ukraine's first National Guard Army Corps, led by the famed Azov Brigade at its head.
Get it over with.
The Russian salient is deep but narrow, enough so that it could be pincered, cut off from reinforcements, and destroyed if the Azov Corps was up to the task.
Could be.
The recently redeployed forces immediately got to work, as the first step was to prevent the Russians from expanding their salient, allowing them to entrench and threaten Ukrainian logistics further on an operational scale. Open-source military analysts show that the 1st Da Vinci Assault Regiment attacked the Russian breakthrough head-on, and during the first day of clashes, they were able to blunt the spearhead and push the Russians back to Zoloty Kolodyas. Recent reports from various Russian, Ukrainian, and Western military analysts now show that they conducted a follow-up operation the next day and pushed Russians out of the settlement and are overrunning Russian positions up to 4 kilometers below, recapturing the new Donbas defense line in the process.
They didn't have it in them.
Further south, along the
You
thin
gotta
Russian
hold that
salient,
position.
elements of the Azov Brigade launched rapid counterattacks on the Russians' left flank, as the 93rd Mechanized Brigade
Guys, change your
assaulted the
logo.
Russians from the east.
Change the logo, please.
Satellite data shows numerous impact craters of Russian aviation glide bombs all over both sides of the salient, the locations of which indicate the Ukrainian attack was very successful and resulted in the capture of Kutuzivka, with prominent Russian and Ukrainian.
So you remember the footage we were seeing earlier in the previous video of those soldiers like running up to houses and throwing in grenades? That's what happens in these scenarios right here, where where they're totally surrounded, then they have to go in, and these Russians are like cut off, completely boned, completely screwed, right? And a lot of these guys are ride or die. A lot of these guys have been lied to and told that, oh, don't believe the hype. Ukrainians will torture you to death, like they torture everybody. Like there's no one even survives. Like you have to fight to the death. And if you don't fight to the death and get captured, we're going to torture you before we send you back to the front lines, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a total nightmare, right? So you actually see it's totally wild. If you go to our combat footage, you see it's like a 50-50 gamble whether the guy's just going to come out and with their hands up or whether they're going to fight to the death. And it's wild stuff because it's like, man, the paycheck ain't worth it, dog. But they're literally threatening rape and assault on their own troops to get them in a state of complete, like, I have no choice. Like, I have to fight to the death here, or else I'm either going to get it from Ukraine or I'm going to get it from my so-called buddies, back there. Once there's a prisoner swap, and there was a prisoner swap just recently, right? So it's a very real possibility that your ass is getting right back on the front lines after, they do God knows what to you.
Forces noting Ukrainians have fully encircled the Russians in two separate pockets. Possibly realizing their goals were becoming too ambitious, Russians attempted an offshoot maneuver between Rudinska and Belitska, hoping to at least achieve an operational encirclement of Pokrovsk, as their larger breakthrough was faltering. However, Azov quickly responded to this maneuver as well, rapidly cutting off the Russian axis of advance and eliminating dozens of Russian soldiers. Command of the Azov units reports that in the past several days of fighting, the 1st Army Corps has eliminated 271 Russian soldiers, wounded over 101, and has taken 13 Russian men as prisoners of war.
Welcome back,
Geolocated combat footage shows Ukrainian drones dropping grenades on Russian soldiers in fields and captured Ukrainian-made fortifications, fiber optic FPVs eliminating Russians in houses and around the settlements,
I was telling
and 4 young Russian men having been taken prisoner after immediately surrendering to Ukrainian forces once the counterattacks commenced. Notably, while Russians have crossed the Kazany-Torets River, they did not take control of any major river crossings or a particularly wide base to transfer manpower and logistics over. Therefore, Russian sources report that Ukraine's highly mobile drone detachments have now focused their fire on the base of the Russian salient at the river. Russian analysts note they have completely lost control over this area, Ukrainians have now officially and effectively cut off the Russian breakthrough through drone fire control.
It's one note. The entire Russian operation is one note. Get a gaggle of drunken fools and blast them to the front lines. Load it up with cheap-ass AKs and shit and, some explosives, right? They got their own drones. They got some jammers. Okay, but the fiber optic drones don't give a shit about jammers, and it's just a slaughter. I can't stress that enough. It's like World War I, dude. Except more crazy, more high tech. Because like World War I was just like these groups of people running into machine gun fire, and there is some of that. There is some of just like straight up, ba 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 ba. There is some of that. But it's really more like waves and waves of these on ATVs and fucking, bikes and shit, and just fucking drones blasting into them. Then, of course, cluster bombs hitting these groupings as much as possible, and artillery shells coming in hard, right? So it looks different. The slaughter looks different, but the result is the same. Just fields and fields of bodies, dude. It's fucked up.
Without having to expend any manpower to conduct a physical counterattack. Notably, Ukrainians were then able to physically move into Nikanorovka and Novosakova, with the rest of the area being returned to the gray zone and under tight Ukrainian drone control. Overall, Ukrainians have curbed the immediate threat of the Russian Dobropilya breakthrough and completed the encirclement of an estimated 800 Russians.
One of the big reasons why Ukraine was invaded was because Vladimir Zelensky was elected. Because it was very clear that for the first time, Ukrainian people selected somebody from them, right, to represent them, and that there was a real desire to separate from the Russian hegemony. Nailed it. I've had problems with that word. So that's the big reason for the invasion, was to prevent this. Because Russia is just trying to keep vassal states. The last thing they wanted to see, was a successful vassal state literally finally separating under the Russian umbrella and starting to become a massive success, right? Like how embarrassing would it be if Ukraine starts to have a more successful economy than the entirety of Russia, right? It would just be massive embarrassment for Russia over here. So it really is more about that. And Vladimir Zelensky cemented the deal. That's why they went for Kyiv, was Vladimir Zelensky. And he's been the right man for the times. Is everything, cherries and roses and the corruption's all cleaned up? No. Is there a legitimate concentrated effort to go after corruption? Yes. And of course, we saw just recently Zelensky, I don't know what he was thinking about making the transparency, under his government, like making that department under his government. But that was a massive mistake. The people responded with protests, and he immediately reversed that decision, allowing for independent agencies to scrutinize his current government, instead of just barreling through like a tyrant would. He reversed on that decision immediately. So no, he's the right man for the time. He's a damn good leader. Is he perfect? No, absolutely not. But there's the only reason this is happening, the only reason why Russia, why any of this happened, really, is because of Vladimir Zelensky. He's the fucking X factor here, without a doubt. Yeah. Any other, if this was Assad, right? If this was Muammar Gaddafi, you know what I mean? If this was one of those type of actual puppets, real corrupt nepotism cases, this wouldn't have been a question. Russia would have been rolling in there, no problem.
Soldiers, hundreds of whom have already been eliminated in the fighting of the past few days. The Azov Army Corps' decisive actions have been highly successful, blunting the Russian spearhead, pushing Russian forces away from critical supply lines, dismantling additional attempts to branch out, and circling Russians in several pockets with little cover to hide. And most importantly, clearing Russians out of the new Donbas defense line, eliminating the operational level threat posed by the Russian salient only days earlier. Now Ukrainians are poised to finish the job, to completely destroy what remains of the already brutalized Russian soldiers. If you are against the invasion of Ukraine...
So big props to you, boy, reporting from Ukraine. They've been holding it down, staying consistent, okay? It was never about, the views. It was never about taking advantage of a situation. These guys are in it for the long haul. So big props to them. Make sure you're liking and subscribing on their content, helping them out. They've been attacked several times, by the same brigades that have gotten me banned, weaponizing the reporting system, of course. So give them all the support that you can, folks. Make sure you're helping out reporting from Ukraine. They're doing God's work. Thank God. Thank Jesus. I'm on a mission from God. Where's my thing? Do I have the thing? No, I don't have it. I have this. It doesn't work. I used to have one called Heaven. I gotta reprogram my soundboard. I wanted to show you this just because it's fun. I thought this was really funny, so I'm going to show this. Welcome back, Ford the Perfect time. We're showing something funny. You're a funny fella.
You wouldn't last one day in my shoes.
Then let's trade places and see who has it tougher.
Fine. Whoa! Who the hell are you? Where's Brad?
Oh, I'm Brad's friend, Scott. We're trading places to see who has it tougher.
Can you believe these guys?
Yeah, it's impossible to find good employees these days.
Especially in construction.
Oh, you think you got it tougher than me?
So, are we selling something? Or?
No, there be monsters. That would be a disaster. I definitely don't want that.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Should I just start smashing stuff, or?
Whoa. You can't just start smashing stuff.
You think this is easy?
I'm gonna stop you right there. I already switched places with my friend. I'm actually an electrician.
All right. Too many people are switching places. This town is gonna fall apart.
Easy for you to say.
Oh, you think it's easy being the mayor? Okay, so now you're all the mayor, and I have all the jobs.
We've got a ribbon cutting ceremony you all need to get to.
Not so easy, is it?
Well, you have to build a building.
And run a business.
And shoot unarmed minorities.
Yeah!
Wait, guys, this is crazy. And then I make a speech about how the grass is always greener. You get it. Ties
He's not very good at this.
the whole thing up.
He's absolutely right.
And so the town was saved.
Awesome. No, this has nothing to do with politics. I just thought this was a really clever sketch or whatever the hell. I just thought that was really funny and clever. And then that was my favorite part right there. It's just like, he kind of like, I don't know. And then I just do like a speech or something. I just thought that was funny. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the redistricting situation. And, you know, it's amazing, right? B-Re up in this mug. How you doing? So good to see you. Yeah, you're actually here, you know, not at the very end. How about that? How are things in Canada? Beautiful. Democracy exists, right? Things aren't perfect, but they're not fascistic. Why is that bad? It would force the... No, it'd be terrible. Because one of the big advantages that Ukraine has is the support from the United States. It's undeniable. Artillery shells, weapons of all different kinds, and now, of course, F-16s, you know, actual jets, training on those jets, logistics, all this, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It would be an absolute disaster for the Ukrainian military for this support to end. Look at this guy rubbing his democracy in our faces. How is Carney doing? I mean, he's a neoliberal banker. He's exactly what we expected, but he's not conservative by any means. He's not, you know, but he is looking at some kind of austerity, which is very troubling. We'll see how well that goes, but he's very responsive so far to the needs of people, and especially pushing back on Donald Trump and the 51st state rhetoric instead of trying to kiss his fucking little toesies like fucking Keir Starmer, one tier Keir over here. You know, actually pushing back somewhat with retaliatory tariffs. You know, Doug Ford doing a pretty good job as well, saying like, this guy, you know, this guy's a piece of crap, you know, like just straight up. And I'm no fan of Doug Ford. Let's be clear on that. I love austerity. All my homies love austerity. Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love having my food stamps and shit cut, right? You know, and then of course but he's big pro corporate. But we also, you know, at the same time, we also need interprovincial trade. We need to get rid of these barriers on interprovincial trade. I had no idea that was going on. I just assumed things were like the United States, right? Where, you know, you don't get extra tax or anything if you mail something to a different state within the United States. But it's not like that in Canada. Like, you get cha-ching every time it crosses a border. It's got to go through its own customs, and sometimes, you know, it's all complicated. So all those barriers need to be broken down. We need to unify economically in Canada. But surely we can do that without cutting, you know, services for sick and poor people and children and elderly, etc. So, but let's not forget who Mark Carney is, neoliberal banker, right? And he's not really surprising me on that, right? Tax cuts for the rich, etc. But is he, you know, he's like, what if Pierre Poilievre was sitting in that seat, it would be 4 times as worse, 3 to 4 times as worse with the tax cuts, with the austerity, with all the other stuff. There'd be much less of a concern for helping poor people. You know, retaliatory tariffs probably wouldn't be on the board. He'd probably allow Donald Trump to tariff the country without responding in kind and just, you know, lick his boots, right? Pierre Poilievre would probably get on his fucking hands and knees for Donald Trump. Oh, the 51st state stuff, it's really funny, sir. Yeah, no, I mean, we'll never do it, but, I mean, that's really funny. Shit like that. By the way, bad news with Pierre Poilievre. Motherfucker won. So he's back in it. I'm the leader of the Conservative Party, so that's great. He's going to be, we're going to see his ass back on TV because they're going to put his ass front and center in the debates against Mark Carney, right? They've been an absolute joke with a bunch of second string B tier conservatives, sitting, keeping his seat warm. But now here we go right back to it with the fucking Ben Shapiro clone antagonizing and pushing buttons and covertly pushing conservative style of Canadian politics. Is fucking disgusting, right? Because he'll talk all kinds of shit, but he'll never admit that he wants to cut services and cut the taxes for the rich. He'll never admit any of that shit, but that's totally what he wants to do. We need more growth. We need more growth. Growth. And what does that mean? Cut services and tax cuts for the fucking rich. Mega consolidation. And if you come out to Canada, corporate consolidation is bad out here. There's like 5 corporations that run a good chunk of Canada's grocery fucking store. Everything. Every grocery store is owned by $1 billion company. Every hardware store is owned by $1 billion company. Really bad corporate consolidation. So Pierre Poilievre would make that even worse. Anyway, back over to the gerrymandering here. Greg Abbott, just wild hypocrite. Doesn't matter. He's going to say this shit right now. So if you don't know what's going on, Texas, which is the state that he's the governor for, I believe. Yeah, Governor Abbott. They're doing a wildly racist and bigoted redistricting, completely disenfranchising millions of black people, mainly. Removing their representation, and just in a totally brazen anti-democratic manner, adding 5 extra seats, I think, to Congress, to the House. So they know they're doing this. So what does Governor Abbott do here when he gets in front of a camera talking about Gavin Newsom and his response, which is like, okay, we're going to do the same thing and we're going to go even harder. Like, we're really going to hurt you. Like, you think, we're California. We can really hurt the Republicans here. We could remove way more than 5 seats if we did the same thing. And this is their response. This is propaganda. This is how it works. They think we're stupid, and of course we're not stupid. But this isn't for us. This isn't for people who don't have their head up their ass. This is firmly for the people that are proud to have their head up their ass, and they continue to shove it up further every single day. Right, so this is kind of where the message is going to. Wildly hypocritical, and it's the most galling thing, the most amazing thing is that he can say that without cracking a smile. There's no way I could do it, right? knowing what I was up to, no, be like, can you believe these guys? I'm sorry, come on. But can you believe? Can you believe these guys with the gerrymandering in California? It's unbelievable. I really couldn't keep the smile off my face because it's just so absurd that I would pretend to have some kind of moral issue with the other side doing it after I've so blatantly laid out my devious plans. It's but he can do it. He can do it, and this is why he gets to sit there. If you look at him, he's like, every time I see these guys, it does make me go like, the lizard people, man. The fucking lizard people, dude. I think they're onto something. And
so what the Democrats have done is disgraceful and potentially illegal. I'll tell you this much. If California dares to try to squeeze out more Republicans, there are going to be lawsuits that will overturn that. What I can tell you in the state of Texas, the 5 Republican seats that we are adding, they are going to withstand legal challenges, and those will be Republican members added to the United States Congress.
So there he goes. That's actually hilarious, that little bit. Well, now we're going to do it harder. Well, I can't believe that they would do this incredibly illegal thing. That's so illegal. I can't believe they're going to do it. So now we're going to do it double time. We're going to do it super duper. Great.
They are going to withstand legal challenges, and those will be Republican members added to the United States Congress.
It's great. Hypocrisy is an essential element of fascism, right? So it's no big surprise that what we're seeing is naked, naked hypocrisy, naked shameful hypocrisy. Like, oh my God, here's a robe. Like, put some fucking clothes on, man. Okay, put it away, dude. Jesus, right? I just want to throw a fucking blanket on this. I don't want to look at this anymore, dude. Quit making those sounds. So just little bits and bobs here. I know, B-Ree. I mean, it really is just so shameful. It's like, put a blanket on this shit. Like, I don't even want to look at this. Can you guys get a room? Trump says lawyers are drafting executive order to end mail-in voting. So here we go, folks. I mean, this, I was literally talking about, like, okay, it's not stopping at gerrymandering. This is like, I didn't predict this specifically, but if I sat down and listed out possibilities of directions that he would go, this would definitely be one of them, because he's complained about it in the past. I will make this prediction, though. It's not going to stop here, and what we're going to hear, he's going to flirt with, at the very least, make one mention, because he's a whiny little bitch, right? You got to mention it at least. Well, it'd be nice. And I think he's going to try to flirt with ending the counting at 12 o'clock. I don't know when. I don't know what time zone. 9 p.m. Nice and tight. You get 2 hours. 2 hours to count the votes, and then we all go to bed and tweet all night. That's what America does, just like me. I'm an old man. I got to go to bed. But no. So I mean, he's got his lawyers drafting an executive order. It's looking like he's going to sign it. What's interesting about this is that it's wildly illegal, and he knows it's going to be challenged immediately. Even, it's definitely going to get to the Supreme Court very, very quickly. It's apparently totally, it's not in his purview whatsoever. It's up to the states about mail-in voting, right? Yo, south of Boston, it's your boy Lenny. Hashtag more Lenny. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Make sure you're buying them Yo Megas. If you're a yo-yo fan, pick up them Yo Megas. You just see the U.S. ruling on the Israeli flag. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Laying the foundation to basically make it illegal to criticize Zionism or Israel in any capacity. Conflating criticism, of course, with anti-Semitism.
Cooling with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Right. So it's going to make my job even more difficult. I'm going to have to tiptoe around even, I'm going to be like, oh, that one country in the Middle East. Like I might have to just straight up avoid saying Israel and Zionism and anything, right? While trying to talk about Palestine, right? No way. My mom or mother-in-law can vote in person. Right. So what I think what's going to happen here, he's gonna sign this executive order as soon as possible and say, I did it. I did what Vladimir Putin. He keeps bragging about how Vladimir Putin was telling me this is a good idea. So I think he's gonna keep doing this because he learns nothing, he knows nothing, and he's gonna continue. And he's gonna be like, Vladimir Putin said it's really bad, and I think it's really bad. It's a scourge. It's a scam. It's a scam. I'm proudly signing this. He's gonna sign it right away. But it's going to be immediately challenged across the nation. It's probably going to go to the Supreme Court, probably just immediately. I don't even know if it's going to go through lower courts first. And then we'll see. We'll see, if the Supreme Court continues on the trend that it's been continuing on, they'll be like, yep, Donald Trump is allowed to do it. And there you go. And then that'll be the end of mail-in voting. But, it will disenfranchise tens of millions of Republicans. Only until recently were Democrats voting more in mail than Republicans. It used to be mostly, like, a good chunk was Republicans. Old people, right? Let's be real. No offense, of course. But elderly people were taking advantage of this. It's like, yeah, I don't want my crinky ankles. I don't want to, hang out. My ankles are already getting crinky. I'm fucking 40. Can imagine what's going to happen if I'm 80. I'm not standing in line for, no water. And you get whipped every 45 minutes if you stand in line to vote, okay? It's the only way to weed out fraud. Fraudsters don't like to get whipped. Only patriots can handle the whipping. Only patriots are allowed to vote. Right? So if I was 80 years old, I would want to participate. I would want to vote, but I wouldn't want to stand in line because then I'll get whipped. So... Mail-in voting's been great. It's been a big benefit to Republicans. So he's like, nah, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It's going to fuck with everybody. It's going to be great. You know, let me make another prediction. I think he might flirt with paper ballots, right? Because he's not talking about replacing Dominion with a Republican-owned company. He's talking about no computers, which is like, it would add weeks. It would add weeks to the counting process. It'd be the hanging Chad situation across the entire nation. You know, fucking gymnasiums filled with people on folding tables, like looking at fucking sheets of paper and fucking taking notes on Microsoft Excel or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't even know what the fuck would happen. Just run it through Palantir. Just throw the papers at the Palantir screen. It'll take care of it. It's a robot. Just reads them. I don't even know what the fucking plan is, but it looks like they're going to cut out Dominion and the attempt may be to cut out all electronic voting altogether. I don't know. Which is like, you know, in theory, oh, that's great. Paper ballots, it's more honest. Well, no. The ironic thing about the actual voting in America is that it was almost 100% fraud free. I'm talking like 99.9% fraud free. If you look at the amount of fraud in each election, you know, because if you think about it, tens of millions of people are voting, let's say for the presidential elections. And there's like literally like, you know, every time there's an election, right, a couple people are busted, like, you know, voting for other people or voting twice. And it's like 10 people in total across the nation. You know, thinking they're slick and getting fucking burned, dude, getting burned. So you're 10 people out of tens of millions. That's actually a very fraud-free system. So this whole idea that reform is actually needed, you know, that we need, like, we got to get rid of Dominion, that Dominion's been working the numbers. No, they actually haven't. Things have been pretty fucking legit. And the reason, one big reason why, is that neoliberals understand that, you know, they're more successful in a fair democratic contest when it's them versus the fascists. So they're okay with an honest electoral system. So anyway, the big story here is that the Democrats are back to give the Republicans a quorum. I don't know why they did this. I think they're fucking cowards. I think they're bitches. Straight up, and that's not me being sexist towards any of the women here that are representatives, but I think this is fucking bullshit. They got a round of applause when they came back, probably from all the aides and assistants and stuff, right? No citizen is applauding this. Oh, you couldn't handle 70 days or whatever, 70 or 90 days. Oh, that was too much for you. Fuck off. Regular welcome, welcome Seneca Athena, but like regular Americans suffer for years in shitty jobs, suffer for years in apartments because they can't get enough money to get a house. We suffer for fucking years and suck it up. They couldn't even do less than 100 days. Okay, so now they're back, and immediately as soon as they come back, check this out. They're requiring Democrats to sign quote unquote permission slips to have a police escort in order to leave the chamber. So they showed up, and sat down, the fucking fascist Republicans, the authoritarian Republicans. It's fascist BTC. I noticed that Tyler Cohen there didn't say the F word during that report that we watched a few minutes ago. It's actually called fascism, but whatever. He's the soft version of Kyle Kulinski. Authoritarianism, sure. So now they're making Democrats. They made all the Democrats sign a piece of paper and have a fucking police escort so that they don't run away again. So that the Republicans can vote for their plus 5 seats and completely eradicate some of their jobs. Some of these people are gonna fucking okay. I guess I'm going home. I no longer have a district to represent. Just an immediate win for the Republicans, right? They knew exactly what was going to happen when they came back, and it's happening. But anyway, this one person who has a little bit more spine than the rest of them, so I guess the rest of them did. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, I'll sign the paper. Yep. So glad I came back. So glad I came back to be treated like this. Would they come back? Would the Republicans come back? Or would they, like, day 68 in the Motel 6, here I am. I'm doing interviews with Tucker Carlson every single day. I'm a big Democratic hero. I'm gonna defy. They're not gonna get a quorum out of me. I'm gonna make sure that they don't think trans people are people. So anyway, she's refused to sign, and she's been like sleeping there. She like slept there overnight. Texas State Rep Nicole Collier spent last night the House floor after refusing to agree to round-the-clock monitoring by state troopers. Wildly authoritarian, fascistic. Yeah, I mean it's infantile. Yeah, permission slip. Yeah, it's infantile, and that's it, right? Like, oh no, you don't have power here. You don't represent. We have complete control, and that's they get their quorum. They're gonna pass the redistricting. Why the fuck did you come back? Because if they waited out the 70 or 90 days or whatever, they wouldn't. The Republicans run out of time to do a special session. No, we came back. We're pussies. Oh, now that it's on the ballot in November. Now that it's now on California. Now it's up to them. Well, we don't have to fight anymore. It's okay. It's up to California now. I mean, that's who these fucking people are. Useless. You would have had to. I would have been Saddam Hussein, dude. You would have pulled my ass out of a dirt hole in the fucking in somebody's backyard. Right? Lift up the kiddie pool. There I am, dude. Saddam Hussein style. I'm going to deny them the quorum with every ounce of my fucking being for what they're doing. And then after a couple weeks, they come back to applause. I don't have the clip of them applauding. I saw it on like a BBC or something when I was watching the news last night. I was like, that fucking makes me want to puke. Story KK, have you noticed more Trump? I mean, it's different. There's shades. It rhymes. There's bigotry and racism within the Trump regime, MAGA regime. There's no denying it, of course. Look what's happening with the immigration. Is it the KKK? It's different. It's different. Only different in the flavor. Only different in how people are getting hurt, who's getting targeted, and why. But is it bigotry and racism, just like the KKK was? Yeah. It's ignorance. Yes. Fart in the wind. Texas Rep Nicole Collier spends over 20 hours on House floor after refusing DPS escort. So what, is she just going to eventually do it then? Because once again, if someone's going to give me food and I get to take a bathroom break, I'm living here. Welcome. This is my new house. I'm never signing this paper. Oh, I don't get access to the bathroom? Okay, which corner can I take a shit in? Okay, I'm really sorry to the janitor, but, I'm never signing this paper. Okay. I leave little dookies overnight. I leave little dookies on their seat, on my political opponent's seats overnight. Why does it smell like piss in here? No, but once again, okay, you did a little photo op, you got your little sleeping mask on, you got your little, blanket. You're obviously not sleeping in the chair. You're going to have to sleep on the floor. So she was, for 20 hours, then she did it. And once again, am I supposed to applaud this? This is supposed to be heroic? This fucking it's pathetic. Yeah, exactly, B-Ree. At least leave a dookie on the floor. I mean, come on. No, I mean, obviously, I'm joking. That's like January 6th, ironically, did that, and now they're heroes. Now they're pardoned heroes. January 6th. So I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what she has to say. Let's get to it.
Representative, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've spent the night on the House floor. Walk us through what those hours have been looking like and why you feel you couldn't agree to the Speaker's rules.
Sure. Since the session adjourned yesterday, a little bit after 12, I have been on this House floor because I refuse to sign a piece of paper that is it's humiliating and it's also offensive.
Look at this fucking clown with this goddamn Looney Tunes ass hammer. Is this how we conduct ourselves in Texas? The fuck is this Yosemite Sam ass motherfucking hammer, dude? The fuck is this shit? The fuck is this? Look at this thing, dude. Was this an anime?
It's humiliating and it's also offensive. So I've been sitting here, and my colleague, the chairman of the House Democratic Caucus, Jean Wu, has joined me, and Vincent Perez, another colleague of mine from El Paso, joined me. And I've been here on the floor.
Okay, so she's not alone. There's two others with her. The headlines are missing that out. That's really important. Because then the story would be about some solidarity, but no, now we're making it about what are we? Are they trying to make it about race or something? Well, there's two others joining her. That's important. That should be part of the story.
I haven't moved since then because I believe that what is going on is just wrong. It's completely wrong, and we've got to stop treating people like they are less than. I mean, we need to see Texas trust the voters to elect the candidate of their choice.
Right.
We don't need them to choose who.
So is that the strategy? Just more finger wagging and shaming on the fascists? So just quietly acquiescing to being defeated, but stoically repeating your message over and over again that, hey, this sucks, this is wrong, this is unfair, while they walk all over you. Literally, you're in an existential crisis. They're removing seats. Okay, shrinking your party, shrinking your influence. So is that the plan? Just wag our fingers? Hakeem Jeffries literally said, we sent a strongly worded letter a couple days ago. I reported on it. Right? I swear to God, if she brings up bipartisanship, I'm going to flip this table over. Okay, and completely wreck my entire streaming setup. I'm going to spill water. I'm going to hold up my computer and spill water directly onto the motherboard while it's running. Dude, that's kind of hardcore. I'm going to do that one day. That's totally fucking Kurt Cobain. Like, that's how I end the stream. I fucking just rip the PC. Oh, that's badass, bro. I'm going to write that down. It's badass.
Their voters are.
It's been a contentious time in our Texas Capitol, and at the center of this debate is this redistricting battle.
Yeah,
that we've seen
Ponder
play out
Monkey,
in the
that's a
first
good
special
point.
Session, now the second one. But now that quorum has been met, we are seeing the continuation of redistricting hearings, and this battle is now playing out across the country. What message are you sending?
No, she should leave dildos on. She's just we're meeting them. We're meeting them in the mud. Okay, we're doing the dildo thing. No, she does like fake pussies. There we go. Like fake pussies and clit hats, the pink clitty hats. Why not?
Out to voters, lawmakers,
yeah,
along with your Texas House
Democrats. I'll see you there. Right, those are good times.
I'm saying to stand strong, stand up against those bullies who try to push you around. You don't have to take it. You have the right to peacefully protest under the law. We have to be able to exercise our First Amendment right. We saw this chamber
everywhere.
Decide that rigging our maps was more important than providing flood relief. And so when you see government taking action that you oppose, you have a right to object. And that's what I'm doing. I am challenging government's decisions
for how long?
That don't put our people first.
And Representative, you say that you're going to be on the House floor.
I mean, honestly, and it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing, but is it really enough to just like, okay, I challenged it for a couple, for a little bit, and then I acquiesced. But when the next thing comes along, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll be kind of a stick in the mud for a couple minutes, and then and then it rolled over again, but I'll be really mad about it. I don't know if that's enough, and I don't mean to criticize her because, like I said, it's better than nothing. Okay, and good for her for standing up. But is it really enough to meet the challenge of our time? Is it really enough to meet this fascistic MAGA movement? It's called pulling a Schumer. This is more than what Schumer would do. Oh, I don't know. We should probably devote all our energy to going after anti-Semitism. It's really bad. What she's doing is probably somehow anti-Semitic. Got to be careful. Right. So she's got more sack than Schumer, but is this enough sack to, to really push back on this fascistic authoritarian MAGA movement? I don't know. I'm hollering. Thank you, B-Ree.
Until Wednesday, and Republicans say these DPS escorts are about making sure Democrats like yourself can't break quorum again, but you've called this intimidation. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit? Do you see this as bigger than just redistricting?
It is bigger than redistricting, but let's remember, DPS is doing what they have been instructed to do. This is not an act of DPS on their own. They have been instructed and ordered to take out these tasks. I do believe it is very concerning. When we see government silence the people or try to control them, then we're no longer in a democracy. That is why we have to stand up against it and fight back.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty existential, serious issue, right? Am I mistaken? That sounds like a pretty big deal. I know the news anchor is going to ask this, but God, I'm dying to ask, why did you come back then? Wow, doom is coming. I pretend doom. I am the harbinger of the apocalypse. Literally, the core foundation of our beliefs are being assaulted, right? I mean, she's right, though. She's right. The foundational, constitutional, democratic, system that we all depend on is being challenged and destroyed every single day. It is a real, legitimate threat. 100% correct. So what the fuck are you doing there? This should be the last place on Earth, unless ICE dragged your ass out of your constituent's attic. Okay, you know what I mean? Unless your ass was literally dragged there by the FBI tracking you down. Why the fuck are you sitting there? This should be the last place on Earth for you to be sitting right now. And the rest of them as well. Am I wrong? So which one is it? This goes all the way back to Hillary Clinton and stuff. Oh, it's a democratic threat. Trump's a democratic threat. That's why I don't take this very seriously. That's why I'm doing everything like on autopilot. Status quo all the way. No, setting expectations all the way. Right? Sounds like a pretty big deal. How about we take it, seriously? Well, that's going too far.
Push back and resist.
Representative, last question for you. What's at stake for your constituents and voters of Texas if you back down?
All is on the line. Our future.
If, what are we talking about? If she backed down, the rest of these fools back down objectively. This isn't a victory. This isn't a win. They weren't forced to do this. They did this voluntarily. And they are not being asked to justify that decision. Beyond fucked up, dude. Beyond fucked up. Do a town hall. Do a town hall and watch this. I guarantee it would be the first fucking question from the audience. I guarantee it. My God, man. If, what are we talking about if?
And Representative, you say that you're going to be on the House floor until Wednesday, and Republicans say these DPS...
Whoa. We're not going to what about this? What about this? What about that? You didn't even use your... It's this, jackass. You are. You fucking fuck. Don't give me some what about scenario, okay? This is here, this is now. They capitulated, and now the Republicans have their quorum. They're going to proceed with the gerrymandering, and 3 or 4 of their members fucking gone, dude. Back room, glitched through the floor. Disappeared. The party actively attacked and shrunk. Oh, you had no choice. Says who? What, were you intimidated by Bingo Boingo?
Escorts are about making sure Democrats like yourself can't break quorum again, but you've called this intimidation. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit? Do you see this as bigger than just redistricting?
It is bigger than redistricting, but let's remember, DPS is doing what they have been instructed to do. This is not an act of DPS on their own. They have been instructed and ordered to take out these tasks. I do believe it is very concerning when we see government silence the people or try to control them, then we're no longer in a democracy. That is why we have to stand up against it and fight back, push back, and resist.
Representative, last question for you. What's at stake for your constituents and voters of Texas if you back down?
If you back
is
down.
On the line. Our future, our ability for free and fair elections are on the line.
It's over.
Our ability to challenge government is on the line. And so if my grandchildren, all of our futures are on the line.
Yeah.
And so
they were on the line. They were on the line. And then you strolled back in without a fight. What a hero. What a hero. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My God, the strength.
We don't stop. If we don't rise up and object, we will continue to see the erosion of the simple freedoms that we enjoy today.
I can't do it. I can't. I'm done. I can't. We're done. I'm sorry. We got to rise up. That's what you did. We got to rise up for a couple minutes and then sit right down obediently and let fascism wash over us while we wag our fingers into oblivion. Somebody help for the okay, Mr. fucking Pimento Loaf. This is what moderates look like, right? And you're defending this? You're cool with this, dude? You're kidding me, man. You're kidding me. No. Okay, thank God. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, dude. Beery, exactly. Like a fucking napkin. Like a paper plane. One of those shitty ones. It's like, as soon as you throw it, like, Yeah, thank you, me from the past 5 minutes ago. Appreciate it. Folded like a... No one... Do you fold cards? Do we fold cards? Bro, who folded my Pokemon cards? Was that you? You folded my Pokemons? Maybe she's dropping deuces everywhere. We don't know. No, I think she's done. I think she's doing like she did a little photo thing. She played on her phone for a couple hours, through the night. It was a long night, and then she did some press. Maybe she went and had a nap, and then did a little press tour. I'm a hero. I'm a hero. You got to resist. That's why we gave up. But should the Democrats have accused the Republicans? Yes, of course. Yes. Decades ago. Yes. And arrest them. Yes. Yes, the Democrats should have been arresting criminals. Yes, in their own party and, of course, the Republicans. Yes. No, one of the main reasons why we're here is this status quo, this unsigned agreement, right? This hidden agreement that we're not going to arrest you and you're not going to arrest us, and we can just have fun being corrupt and insider trade all away the day. Folded like a house of cards. There you go. That's what he was trying to say. All right. So now that we're all real pissed off, let's have a good old time with the Good Liars. These guys are amazing. Super funny. Where's Comedy Central? You know what I mean? Where are these networks anymore that want to do anything interesting, right? It's just all on YouTube now. We all have to do it ourselves, produce it, edit it ourselves, fund. They have to fund it themselves to go to these places. This is like peak Comedy Central content, right? This is like Daily Show shit. It's really great. Man on the street interviews and just like, no, it's too political. No. I like Mr. Beast stuff. Can we get more Mr. Beast slop? He's great. We can sell some bleach with Mr. Beast. Ship is sinking. We do our best to repair the leakages. Says as the fascists have already blown up the boat and stolen the life rafts. Exactly. I mean, they're pillaging the fucking boat and they're over here patching leaks. Little Band-Aids. Hey, can you guys keep it down back there while you destroy our party? Can you fucking keep it quiet? We're trying to apply a Band-Aid over here. Trying to keep our thumb in the dike. Anyway, the good liars, they're over there, Washington, D.C., covering this like they do so well. I'm sorry in advance that I'm stealing your content, but not only is it funny and topical, but it's also news and it's important to show. It's the full Monty, and once again, where the fuck is Comedy Central? Where's the fucking network? With any sense? How come they're not throwing money at these guys? It's just ridiculous.
We are here in Washington, D.C., where just over 4.5 years ago, on January 6th, Donald Trump said he definitely did not have the authority to call on the national.
Rogan's a fucking coward. He would never get on the street because it would be a lot of people like, hey, man, why the fuck are you telling people to take ivermectin? Hey, bro, how come you're such a lunkhead, repeating CIA talking points? How come you're such a fucking moron, right? His little fragile alpha male ego couldn't handle a man on the street interview because it would just be constantly, hey, how come you're a dickhead now? What the fuck happened to the real Joe Rogan, right? Oh, you cashing checks and now you're a fucking right winger? What the fuck's that about? Oh, move on, next one. Oh, I want to make fun of some woke liberals. Can we go to a college and I could go debate somebody like Charlie Kirk in an isolated environment? Joe Rogan's a fucking coward, and he's a boat anchor around the neck of comedy. He needs to be fucking, he needs to continue to sink into irrelevancy. What happened to Fear Factor, bro?
National Guard.
All right, no more pausing.
Now, I guess things have changed because there's just so much National Guard here. So I'm wondering if you might have been lying about that.
All right, we have 45 minutes left.
Trump's federal policing efforts in the district are growing. Hundreds of National Guard troops from West Virginia, Ohio, and South Carolina will be deployed here to D.C.
It is hot as hell here in Washington, D.C. I have sweat dripping down my body, gathering around one of my nipples, I think.
I've been living in D.C. since 1988. Riding my bike since I was a kid, literally. Nothing happens around here. How are you going to have these soldiers? They're tourists around here. Who's around? Who are they protecting?
On January 6th, Donald Trump said he couldn't call the National Guard in. Now they're here. Why do you think that is?
Well, if the sentence begins with Trump said, you lost me.
Do you think he's the reason the National Guard are in D.C. right now?
100%. It's all a scam. It's a made-up crisis. There's no crime here. The crime is you might pair Chardonnay with a red piece of meat. That's the crime. They're in Georgetown. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. Ugh. Sorry, I got a little sick thinking about that.
Right.
DC is not that bad. When I used to live back in the day, it was so bad. I always tell everyone, we took 20 steps forward. During COVID, we took a few steps back. We took 5 steps back. But at the end of the day, we're still 15 steps ahead.
We are.
Yo, anyone catch the sweaty nipple? Homie got sweaty nipples. Sorry, y'all. Some men got sweaty nipples. Okay, leave them alone. It's a hot day out there. Yo, I love it. It's exclusively on the nipple. It's 100% sweaty nipple, dog. Happens to the best of us. I have hairy nipples. Okay, I don't know if they sweat like this. I don't know. This might happen to me now. Okay, I might have sweaty nipples. Yeah, exactly. Definitely understand. But I just love it. The outline of the nipple. It's so good, dude. It's so good.
COVID, we took a few steps back. We took 5 steps back. But at the end of the day, we're still 15 steps ahead.
We are here in Washington, D.C.
So
you guys look like locals. Are you all locals? Everyone looks like locals here. All right.
Fucking terrorists.
Okay. No, not a local.
Hey, you want
you guys aren't locals? Not locals?
Hey.
No?
You want some
All right.
heroin?
Okay. I thought maybe that was like a DC thing. Everyone wears the yellow helmet, gets on a bike and drives around together. I didn't know if it was maybe a bicycle gang. Maybe that's why the National Guard are here.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a gang. Definitely.
What do you think about the national?
Look at this fucking crack slinger, dude. See, that's why they wear the cargo shorts, right? The whole camera and hat bit. That's it's just a bit, okay? It's totally connected to narco terrorists. Like, this guy's slinging straight fentanyl, okay? 100%. No doubt about it. You know, keep a little fentanyl around the collar of the dog. Look, you got a little fentanyl baggie right there. You think that's poop? You think those are poop bags? Fentanyl. Okay? 100% confirmed drug dealer. Thank God the troops are out there, dude. Thank God. Thank fucking God, man. This guy, I swear to God, guys like him walk up to little kids and they go, here's a freebie. You know, fully loaded fucking crack pipe filled with fentanyl. Kid just fucking cranking, dude. Just fucking like, whoa. Truth. Some have said, some people say that is 100% true. The dog gives it away, dude. That's the signal. That's the signal, right? Get your Fenny right here. Please. Oh, you gonna take some pictures, huh? Totally hollowed out on the inside, filled with drugs.
National Guard, the ICE checkpoints, the police across the city right now.
Thank God for Donald Trump.
Why do you think it's unnecessary?
Was last time you heard about a crime here at Lincoln Memorial?
And as those heavily armed troops patrol a variety of locations across D.C., the White House saying the move is not meant to scare away tourists.
D.C. feels dead as shit.
Tourists.
It's a Sunday. I mean, I know it's hot, it's super hot, but you know,
fucking
around here,
criminals,
people
dude.
are not going to come here anymore. You know, when there's ICE checkpoints and there's military
100%.
walking, people are just like freaked out. Like, you know what? Forget it. They're not going to come here.
Fucking conspiracy theories. No one's freaked out by a bunch of soldiers and stuff that can bust you and fucking kidnap you at any moment. Only pussies and, you know, quite frankly, like somebody doing something illegal. Someone fucking doing something illegal, dude, right? So they deserve this. We deserve this, man. Do you want security or not? Huh? Do you want to feel secure? I feel secure. I really only feel secure when someone big and strong and scary is like looming over me and watching me do every single thing that I do. That's the only way I can feel secure in bed. Wait a minute. Did I say that? I'm sorry. I didn't say that. Don't clip that.
I hope tourists still come here.
Okay. Do you think that all the militarization could scare away tourists a little bit?
Take a look around you.
Looks good to me. Great time to visit.
On tourism here.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's great. Clean. It's clean.
I feel
scraped clean of the scum.
What are they doing here?
I don't know. It looks like they're standing around talking.
Scraping the
some
scum,
laughing
dude.
a little bit. One of them was
check
sitting
your
in the
paper.
car.
What's your papers? You know, I can tell this guy might be illegal. You know how I can tell? I'm not going to say it, but I got a secret system to know when someone might be illegal. This guy's definitely not illegal. This guy might be. Okay, I can't tell you the system, but let me tell you, it's foolproof. 15% of the time, it's foolproof. Okay, I can't tell you the system though, but it's good.
It gets some air conditioning because
check his fucking papers.
And another guy went into one of the cars, and then I think one of them went to Dunkin' Donuts.
You know, they worry about how much all the money that the government's spending. This is a complete waste of money.
Waste of money.
Serves,
peace of mind is waste of money. Look at these guys. That's peace of mind.
I have no idea.
We are seeing a heightened presence of immigration officials in the district. Our cameras captured the moment federal authorities arrested a delivery driver this morning.
They're harassing people. Crime is at a 30-year low in Washington, D.C. right now. It's racism with the immigration. That's all it is. Everybody knows that. Trump is very insecure man,
Hamas,
and he's overcompensating. This is nothing about security.
This guy's a Hamas
What would you
terrorist.
say to someone who's thinking of signing up to be an ICE agent?
Awesome.
It's like SS.
Slam dunk.
Those in the 30s Hitler guys. They're doing it for a job too.
Brown shirts. Come on, bro.
They're doing some other crazy
Look at
stuff.
that, criminals.
It starts out
backpack.
with pulling people over and asking for their ID, and God knows where it's going to end.
Oh, come on.
You feel there's some authoritarianism going on right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, every American should be.
They probably do have air conditioning, and they probably just keep them running 24/7, just fucking blah 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 blah, just guzzling diesel the whole day. While they pop in and out. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just got to take selfies with children all day. I don't know what's going on. No, this anytime you see a motherfucker with a backpack on one of them scooters, drug dealer.
Against this. Every American should be against this.
Shut up.
This is a disgrace.
To the ICE agents at the checkpoints who are here in D.C., what would you want them to know?
I want them to know that we understand that you're doing your job.
Right.
But
illegal.
at some point, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror.
Right. Illegal.
On January 6, 2021, people broke through those barricades and went into the Capitol, which feels a lot more dangerous than it does here today.
The lefties did it. Look at all the lefties. Look at all these left wingers. Hold on.
But for some reason today, there's a bunch of National Guard.
Antifa.
So go figure me that.
Seneca. Sick Palantir after that motherfucker. Illegal dude.
I don't know what the latest is, but
he's so illegal, bro. Look at him.
Filing charges against this poor guy, and he lost his job because you threw a sandwich. Meanwhile, he's hiring people out of the January 6th to run the government now.
That sandwich
and he
Okay, Subway doesn't cook them right. Okay, Subway always overcooks my sandwich. That makes the sandwich hard. Okay, that could have hurt. It hurt his feelings. That hurt his feelings. What, that doesn't count anymore? Cops don't have feelings? You're the real fascists. Right? You fucking Subway sandwich throwers. You're the real fascists. Antifa's the real fascist.
All of them. These guys are beat up. One of these guys, I don't even know what his name is, but he was like literally telling, the chanting to the crowd to beat up that one police officer, and now you got a job somewhere in the government.
On January 6th, someone threw a fire extinguisher at a police officer. Which one's worse?
Yo, Lenny, that's a great idea.
Then worse than a Subway sandwich?
Yes.
No.
Maxine, what do you think about the military being unleashed across Washington, D.C.?
Oh.
Do you think Donald Trump is the reason that they are?
The fucking dog is drugged out, dude. Look how high that dog is. Look how fucking stoned that dog is, dude. Straight fentanyl for fucking weeks, dude. That dog is strung out.
D.C. Do you think Donald Trump is the reason that they are here right
Monsters, exactly.
Well, obviously.
Why do you think he said on January 6th, 2021, that he wasn't allowed to call them in, that was Nancy Pelosi's job?
You got me there. It's a good question.
Okay. Well, do you have any ideas as to why?
Well, it would have been useful if they were called out on January 6th, obviously.
But do you know why he would say one thing and then say another later?
That's the way he does things.
Lies or whatever.
Call what you want to call it.
Yeah. What would you call it?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Anything you'd want to say in parting? I mean, I know we've had a good time here, you and I.
Just enjoy the city.
Yeah.
I hope tourists still come here.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay. That sounds like a motherfucker that's learned nothing. I've learned nothing. Wow. With him in charge, everything's worse. I can't disagree with you. I really, things are objectively worse now. He's got weed juice in the dog bowl. Bong water. He's got bong water. Disgusting. Okay, let's get serious. I have a little over a half hour. Let's keep her moving. So ICE is over here, moving on to the next story. ICE is over here blowing themselves up on social media. ICE doesn't make arrests at sensitive locations like hospitals, schools, or churches, except in the case of a serious public safety threat. And we literally have video of all of these places being raided by ICE. Of course, not a security threat. I showed you an image of them like setting up an ambush at a hospital, just like sitting at the lobby of a hospital. Yeah, B-Re, the good liars are amazing. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, folks. I didn't give you the link. Let me give you the link real quick. Because you absolutely want to add these guys to your algorithm. Give them the like, give them the subscribe. I'm subscribed, okay? I'm not even lying, right? Incredibly talented, should absolutely be on TV, should have millions of dollars thrown at them, and they're just, fucking blowing in the wind of YouTube because it's political. Oh, I'm a coward, I'm an oligarch, and all I want is fascism, but I want it quiet and easy like the Democrats provide. So make sure you add that to your algorithm. But anyway, we have objective proof that they literally pull anybody out from anywhere. Palantir says get them, and they do it. Qassam Rashid Esquire, who gives Elon Musk $5 a month, You arrested a 10-year-old girl with cerebral palsy recovering from gallbladder surgery at the hospital and denied her access to her mother. Wow. Yeah, take it to the free speech zone, buddy. But no, I mean, it's just they're despicable, horrible monsters. And why did they do that? For the numbers, so that they go one more tick. Right, we need 3,000 a week. It's exhausting, but they've given us $170 billion. Hire as many bigots as we can fucking find, you know. Do you think they're rolling through the trailer parks like the fucking Ice Cream Man? Right? Instead of ice cream music, I don't know, what do they play? Fucking, I don't know. No, Kid Rock. They're blasting Kid Rock through the fucking trailer parks. Join ICE now. Bah with the bah, da bang, diggy, diggy. We don't care that you have prior convictions. Bah with the bah, da bang, da bang. Is that what's going on? Join ICE today. So we were talking earlier about like how I was saying like Laura Loomer is like fucked up, and like her outside reflects just like the evil inside. She looks like super beyond crazy fucked up, right? So somebody asked the robot Grok, you know, so she's mentally ill. And Grok, this is what Grok has to say about Laura Loomer, and her response is just as amazing. It goes, yes. Yes. Based on, she's mentally ill. Yes. Based on federal law and documented history of involuntary commitments for conditions like bipolar disorder, Laura Loomer meets the criteria for mental illness that bars her from gun ownership. Thanks, robot. I'm so glad these robots just like are gonna, you know, because these are the robots that are gonna be judging us at work. You're like, oh, you take 45-minute bathroom breaks on average, and you are on YouTube for 3.7 hours, and right. These are the robots that are going to be fucking destroying our lives and turning us into, you know, fucking, you know, making our lives a living hell. But it's really funny right now. So this is what she had to say. This is incredibly defamatory, and your claims have been refuted. Issue a retraction now. So I don't know what the response was, but I'm kind of curious if anyone knows. You've smoked 14 bowls today. I've smoked 3. I think I'm done. Yeah, I've smoked straight 3 hashy, keefy bowls. I'm having fun today, boys. I got to pick up my kid in a half hour, though, so I got to slow the fuck down. Showing up in the daycare. What's up? What's up, kids? How you doing? Hey, Smokey the Bear. No. Got to clean up a bit. Serious business. So, you know, just over to the topic of fascism and just, you know, how it's going to directly affect Americans. You know, all that. These people are, you know, totally allowing for pesticides and poisons to re-enter our daily lives. And if you don't think that this has an effect on cancer rates and health rates across the board, you know, sorry. But there's, you know, big data sets that are taken like, oh, yeah, when, you know, when Roundup, you know, with this chemical is used, was sold at these Walmarts, you know, it had an increase of cancer, et cetera, in these areas. Like, you know, there's real data to show endocrine disorder. Sure, yeah, I mean, all kinds of stuff that, you know, never used to happen until we started allowing these petrochemical or just, you know, straight up chemical companies poison us. So here we go. Deregulation. This is somehow supposed to benefit us, by the way. Supposed to save some money, I guess. But remember these names, remember these faces. These 33 U.S. representatives threw all Americans under the bus by voting to give the pesticide industry immunity from pesticide harm lawsuits. Cool, good stuff. Just what we needed, right? Just what we needed. And it's, you know, you've never heard of these fucking idiots, most of them, but it's just the same thing, you know, same right-wing template. I'll do whatever daddy says. You know, thank you for my career. You know, thank you, Israel, for all those checks, you know, on autopilot. Happy to support a fascist dictatorship, whatever it takes for their careerists, you know. And they're happy to poison you. And, you know, what's ironic to me is that these people aren't immune. They're not immune to the microplastics that they put in everything that, you know, that they allow to exist. You know, they're not immune to these things. And these guys get cancer and they get all kinds of fucked up diseases sometimes. You know, it's like it's short-sighted and suicidal to a certain extent, right? Because they're not immune to any of this, to the poisons. They're going to hire gardeners that are going to use pesticides that they're going to then let their kids run around in, right, in the yard or whatever, and they're going to be literally directly responsible for poisoning their own families. Right. Well, gardener's going to use, you know, like, oh, well, not in my yard. No, the gardener's going to use a pesticide that isn't like that in my yard. Oh, really? You're going to check for everything? Right? They don't. So they get all these weird fucking diseases too. They're nihilistic sociopaths. Okay? And they're suicidal when it comes down to it. Right? They're incredibly dangerous individuals. Not in my backyard. No way. It's not gonna. Can't happen to me. Can't happen to me. You know. And then they get fucking all kinds of weird shit, just like us. Right? That, you know, all the fast food that they eat because we're slumming it today. Me and the lady took the $300,000 Corvette to the McDonald's and we got ourselves a cheeseburger. So I'm so glad I deregulated the beef industry so that there's more fecal content in my burger that I just ate. Yeah, I did that. I got a big tax break and I got a big fucking, you know, cut from the fucking industry when I did it. That's how I afforded the car. Nom, 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 nom. I love my poopy beef. I don't, you know, they're dangerous. They're dangerous on that level, you know, where it's just like they're not even making logical decisions of, like, you know, putting themselves, you know, for self-preservation, right? You'd be like, oh, well, they're not that bad, right? No, they don't fucking care. So your boy Humanist Report over here, Tom Figurino at the Humanist Report, with another banger report. Thought I would show it. You know, shows a lot of great clips of DC residents pushing back against this overt fascism, directly shaming, yelling at, recording. You know, just being a general nuisance and letting them know that this is totally ridiculous. It's great. It's great stuff. Love to see it.
Let's go on a run here through D.C. and show you what it looks like now that the Trump administration has sent in the National Guard and federalized our police force. Didn't even get to start the run. I'm on my block. We've got police right here. This is Border Patrol, and then these are some unmarked vehicles, as well as more Border Patrol. Now following that group of cars, we're about 4 blocks in. All right, just got to Union Station. Here is what the scene looks like. Kind of a weird scene here, but we've got 3 of these military trucks sitting behind me. I just circled back to head back to Martin Luther King Jr. Library now that it is shut down to see what happens. And in front of me, I have about 8 agents along with police.
I'd be completely fucking winded, by the way. This guy's like
Homeland Security investigations, and one that just says federal agent.
Keep the fuck out of my city! Your brother never loves you!
There's a group of Border Patrol and MPD behind me. They just stopped 2 men for smoking weed, which to my knowledge is legal in DC. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Just in the few blocks that I walked alongside those federal agents, the number of scared reactions that I saw from people of color that were walking just down the street minding their business was insane. Just to give you an example, a black mother and her son was walking down the street. The second they turned the corner and saw the agents walking towards them, she immediately grabbed her son's hand and told him, when you see these people out here walking around, you're going to hold my hand because I want them to know that you're mine. And you're not out here causing trouble because we don't want any trouble with them. It was truly just so disheartening to see.
Whoa. Oh, Mike Figurino. What? I keep saying Tom Figurino. Mike Figurino. I'm sorry, Mike. Has nothing to do with the marijuana that I consumed. Absolutely not. Okay. It's something else. Mike Figurino.
That TikToker gave us a tiny little glimpse into the totalitarian hellscape that is DC thanks to Donald Trump and his fascist military takeover. And as you saw, there were militarized police and just members of the military everywhere. And DC's residents, especially black and brown ones, do not feel safe, and for good reason. And that guy was correct that marijuana is indeed legal in DC, but that hasn't stopped authorities from arresting people and even going door to door because they mistakenly thought that they smelled weed, which is, again, legal in DC. Pay close attention to this interaction.
So I already showed you this footage, but it's a cut down version of it. I'll show it again. It's very important, and there's just more amazing clips. Mike Figurino does a great job laying this out. I don't know if he has a team or not, but he always does a really good job. He does a better job than like CNN and stuff when it comes to putting together clips, you know, about the situation, you know, multiple videos, multiple angles. Does a really good job.
That was recorded.
Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside.
Fuck you. How about
That's
fuck
federal
you?
agents going door to door because Trump is tired of it. And they want you to believe that this is the new normal.
Yeah. Heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like Code 3 or anything like that people are putting up? All right, so.
No, I thought I lived in a free country. Sorry, my bad.
Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together, 7 days of going out.
I wouldn't know, Ice King.
Trying to stop the violent crime.
They're calling it a 7-day federal surge,
Good one,
but
bro.
Trump's already talked about going around Congress to make this permanent. This isn't about just a week. This is about how much federal control you will tolerate at your front door.
At the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in your hair, right? And you're the only guy that has something lit in your hand.
Except it was just a
Yeah, bro. Yeah, in my spare time, I watch Andrew Tate videos, and he says people that smoke marijuana are losers. So I just, you know, I think this is a good thing for society. To go after people this way. I think I'm helping. That's right. I've put about 6 seconds of thought into it, and I think this is good. It barely masks my underlying racism. It's really nice. It's really great to be deputized to basically be racist, and I get this whole cover for it, right? No one would ever claim that. No, how dare you if you ever say I would, but no. I get to be super duper racist all day. It's great.
Cigarette, and they were being questioned on their own front stoop.
Tell your boys, like, everybody's out.
Tell your boys.
FBI, police.
So they knocked on his door to warn him to behave because they mistakenly thought that they smelled
hang out on your porch.
weed, which again is legal in DC. Doesn't matter if it's legal.
He wants
because
to say the
Donald
N-word
Trump
so
is
bad.
tired of it, whatever that means. So just know that if you're not on your best behavior, then there's police, troops, and federal agents everywhere on every single block, basically.
He wants to say it
and
so
to be
bad.
clear,
You know
that wasn't
he
a
does.
PSA. That wasn't.
Got his little hat backwards like Marky Mark, looking like a real cutie pie.
Implicit threat to that individual because everyone in DC already knows that they're everywhere. This video from Olivia Scooter shows one of many hordes of federal agents. This one includes DEA and FBI just patrolling streets looking for peasants who might be misbehaving in a way that the regime would disapprove of. They're not finding anything, but they're marching through the streets just to, I guess, demonstrate the power that they have and control that they have over the subjects that they're currently occupying. And as journalist,
I love that, dude. I love that, man, because that's the right response. Like, whoa, dude, whoa. What has become of us? I love that. Look at this guy's reaction.
That they have over the subjects that they're currently.
That's the reaction of a real American right there. And this, and Donald Trump completely wildly underestimates the amount of people that are like, whoa. This is what I talk about in the midterms, how a lot of people are going to be woken up and activated because it's just going to be like, oh, something ain't right at all.
Occupying. And as journalist Jerome McDonald Evoy pointed out, remember when conservatives said that lockdowns were government overreach? Those were the days, right? I know, I remember that. They threw temper tantrums over mask
Antifa
mandates during a global
January
health
6th.
crisis.
We killed
but
it.
They have nothing to say about this fascist takeover of our nation's capital. Like, we are seeing authoritarian conditions in the United States, but they've put away their "Don't Tread on Me" flags, apparently. I don't know what happened to them.
Tread on me, daddy.
See, they are implementing new laws seemingly at the behest of Trump's regime by arresting people for smoking weed. Like, that's what they can do, but they're saying, no, we are arresting people for that. Now we're going door to door to warn them that they can't smoke weed.
Fucking disgusting.
Like, this is what invading forces do after they just conquer nations.
Hell yeah.
And it's not just that they're intimidating people and arresting them for any reason.
Now,
they're also setting up checkpoints like an actual fucking military-style dictatorship.
Sweet.
And expectedly, nobody is okay with this.
No, I'm totally cool. This is great.
In Washington, D.C., police
Safety.
set up a checkpoint, stopping cars as they
look at
passed.
that. Yeah, but look at how secure everything is, huh? Kind of got him. I don't see any crime. I mean, the only crime is, of course, the massive crime against democracy and you know, peace, civil rights, and, you know, human rights. But anybody getting pickpocketed? Got him. Anybody speeding? Got him. Okay, I don't see any Amazon packages being stolen off any porches, okay? Fucking got him, okay? You wanted solutions to problems? There you go. Quit bitching. Quit bitching, okay? He's going to roll this out nationwide, and it's going to be peace forevermore. It's going to be amazing.
Residents came out to protest against it.
Good point, Ponder Monkey. There's more work to be done. More work to be done.
So this checkpoint was set up along 14th Street
on
Northwest, which is very close to the busy U Street corridor. We're speaking with some residents who live in this area today about their reactions.
We saw a
awesome.
number of masked men.
Based.
Clearly working for ICE, a small number of protesters, a lot of lights.
I feel safer.
A lot of cars just stopped in the road. My instinct, negative. Right? Get out of the city.
What?
A lot of the
puzzled.
Police were covering their faces, I think, is part of intimidation, which I was.
Is she wearing a fucking Walgreens hat? What the fuck? Am I seeing this? Is she wearing like a Gatorade shirt and a Walgreens hat? What? Maybe do you get that kind of merch when you go to like on 10K run? She looks very fit. She looks like she does 10Ks. How do you get a fucking Walgreens hat? How do you do that? Free swag? Yo. I'd be exercising in a bunch of free swag too. That's how I do it.
A lot of the police were covering their faces, I think, is part of intimidation, which I was upset to see that happening right close to my home.
Wow, that's a very sensible opinion.
Related to any actual public safety concern.
From where I live, I can see like the street.
But things are safer.
I saw like a group of police officers and National Guard just walking.
I've lived in D.C. for almost 4 years now and have never felt unsafe. Now with this increased police presence, I do feel like everyone's on edge.
And more developments involving federal troops were seen today as well, including National Guard units and Humvees set up near Union Station.
This is disgraceful. I come here every day. I never feel unsafe. What? For what?
And to answer that last lady's question, it's not to make her feel more safe. It's to intimidate her. This is Trump flexing his muscle to scare citizens into submission because there's no reason for the checkpoint. They didn't even state a reason for the checkpoint. As Jake Johnson of Common Dreams explains, there was no officially stated purpose for the checkpoint, but it came amid the Trump administration's lawless mass deportation campaign and its broader threats to deploy U.S. troops on the streets of American cities to crush dissent.
Guys, look, I can't tell you what the system is, but I can tell you without 100% a shadow of a doubt, this guy's illegal. Okay, I won't get into my system. Okay, but it's foolproof. Like 15% of the time, boom, got him. Okay, and when this guy is no longer part of our society, when we cleanse, when we scrape and cleanse, you know, there's less traffic, there's less tourism, you know, and that makes me happy because I'm not really going to go to these places anyway. But I can just sleep better at night knowing that things have been scraped and cleansed, right? When I'm watching my Tucker Carlson playlist as I drift off to sleep, maybe a couple Nick Fuentes's, you know, mix it up a bit.
At least one person, a black woman, was arrested at Wednesday's checkpoint. One D.C. resident posted to Reddit that agents were pulling people out of cars who are suspicious or if they don't like the answers.
Guilty. 100%, like 100%, 15% of the time, bro. Guilty. 100%. The system, look, even this guy knows. See, he knows. He knows the system, right? We can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. But, you know, we know the system. Guilty. 15% of the time is good enough. Whatever. 12%, 11%, whatever. It's fine. We don't count anymore.
To their questions. The Washington Post reported that a mix of local and federal authorities pulled over drivers for seatbelt violations or broken taillights. Bradley Balco, a journalist who has documented the growing militarization of U.S. police, wrote earlier this week that the motivation for Donald Trump's plan to federalize Washington, D.C. is same as his motivation for sending active duty troops into Los Angeles, deporting people to the Sacat torture prison in El Salvador, his politicization of the Department of Justice, and nearly every other authoritarian overreach of the the last 6 months.
Nice.
He is testing the limits of his power and, by extension, of our democracy. And that is exactly the case, because Trump is currently trying to see what he can and can't get away with. So if there's enough pushback in D.C.
I've never been more free.
and they constrain Trump's actions in some way, shape, or form, then that is going to hinder his plans to bring this to other cities. Inevitably, he still will do that. But right now, if he can't get away with everything, military checkpoints and whatnot, then that will in some ways limit what he's able to do. And the good news is that there are brave people in D.C. who are quite literally fighting for our freedoms right now as we speak by protesting him and filming federal agents. And I've got to say, like, this is really important. The troops that you've all supported for decades with the stickers on your cars and whatnot, they no longer protect you. Those are Trump's troops now. They're not going to disobey his orders. They didn't in L.A. They're complying in D.C.
Yeah, I mean, he's making a great point. And this is what I've been saying. Like, where's the dissent to this, right? Because we always heard that, oh no, I took a pledge to the Constitution. I'll defend it. And it was like, well, yeah, no, I think there are soldiers that are like that, but they just cherry picked. There's plenty of pro-Trump, right wing. Right, because where do a lot of soldiers come from? They come from incredibly poor, rural neighborhoods. Raised by Republicans. A lot of the soldiers think Obama, was a foreign citizen, et cetera, et cetera. And they're down for the Trump stuff. They think this is cool. Why do you think the little cutie pie with the backwards hat, little Marky Mark there, was leading the team? Trump says you can't do this no more. Why do you think he was in charge? Right? Like, oh, this guy's a true believer. This guy's a complete dumbass. Totally believes in the Trump shit.
There hasn't been any mass resignations. Trump has turned the troops against you.
Zero.
And the people pushing back against his tyranny, those are the ones that we should actually be thanking for our freedoms, because these people on the streets right now in D.C., they are literally fighting for freedom for the rest of us.
100%.
And despite the severe risk that standing up to Trump poses to their well-being.
Because Palantir is working on a phone app that they're going to distribute amongst these soldiers pretty soon. And anytime anybody says anything, they're going to be pointing a camera to add your face to the database of dissidents. And they're just going to sit on that list, by the way. Once that list is big and plump, they're just going to sit at that list of names of people that have directly disobeyed the Trump regime and do nothing with it. I'm pretty confident of that. Rest easy, folks.
They showed up. They showed up at that checkpoint to warn others about the threat being posed to them.
You're fine. Right. So you just point. They're just going to start pointing the cameras at these crowds. Boom, 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 boom.
What's your purpose? What's your goal?
Right.
What's the motive?
And then you're going to get audited. Like, homie's got a fucking Big O. He's got a milkshake. Yeah, I already drank my milkshake. That's why I'm a fat ass. That's what they're going to do. Just like this guy, instead of just standing there, just take the camera, boom, boom, boom. They already, they do a lot of recording, so they're going to run that footage through Palantir anyway. So retroactively, you're going to get put on there if you've ever showed up to a protest and you've seen any of these law enforcement with cameras. But it's going to be like active, right? So, and if you have, say you have a traffic ticket, say that you didn't show up to court, for one reason or another. Anything at all, anything they can get you for anything. And they're going to start to individually pick people out, arrest them, target them, weaken the crowd, divide and conquer, because it's going to be like sci-fi shit, Star Trek shit, where they point the phone at you and be like, boop, 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 boop. This person lives here. Beep, beep, bop, bop, beep. 6 traffic violations. Should have showed up to court 3 weeks ago. Didn't show up to court. Late on their taxes. Beep, bop, beep, 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 beep. Late on their taxes, arrest approved, pull them from the crowd and arrest them. That's coming really soon. That's coming, dog. It's not sci-fi. It's not Black Mirror. That's in a couple months. Look forward to that.
Why won't you show your face? Like you look yourself in the mirror? Think I did a good job
Give me a sip of that.
Turn left!
A little sip of your milkshake, bro.
Turn left!
Trying to get people to turn left to not go down 14th Street. There's
I love her
a random
shirt,
search right now. They've pulled over about 6 cars. We've seen 2 people get detained, one by ICE, one by the police. taken
she fucking rocks,
no rhyme or
man.
reason.
And I just want to tell people at this point that it's not been confirmed. Continue.
Yes, that is what it seems like. So we're trying to get people to turn left so that nobody drives down this street.
These people are heroes, and we should be thanking them unironically for their service
100%.
because their courageous pushback is limiting what Trump can do in D.C. Because remember, L.A. and D.C., these are just test cases. So if these individuals successfully push back, that sends a message to Donald Trump's regime that they can't be intimidated. And it constrains what they know they can get away with. Like if people stand up and they make it clear that they're not going to tolerate.
He tried to make L.A. into that. He desperately wanted a riot. He wanted people to flip out and attack the cops, attack the soldiers, etc. But people were like, "What? Come on, man! What the fuck are you doing?" It's like the one drunk guy at the party that wants to fight, and everyone else is like, "No, no, dude, go to therapy."
All this authoritarianism that is going to constrain Trump. We saw this when there were individuals handing out cards, warning communities about ICE. That was something that made it more difficult for them to deport individuals. We know because Tom Homan even complained about it. But doing this comes at great risk because, as a local CBS affiliate reports, D.C. council members questioned police about excessive use of force after a video of a woman being pinned down to the ground went viral. Well, police claim that she was arrested because she didn't pay her fare. But that is a brazen lie from police. And the woman being assaulted by police is leftist activist Afeni. She was peacefully cop watching to make sure that residents who felt intimidated by the overwhelming police presence felt safer, especially young black and brown people, because as the first TikToker pointed out, they are horrified. Young black people in particular feel vulnerable because Trump has been fear-mongering about youth crime. And of course, they're going to point the fingers at black and brown people because this is a white supremacist administration. So by simply being present, even if you're not filming, that is one way to disincentivize police violence against
leftist DJ Khaled over here doesn't want to scrape and cleanse, man. What a woke pussy.
Young black and brown people. And after Trump's DC takeover, Afeni mobilized with others in the community to protect the community, and she recorded an interaction between a citizen and police, and they then turned their ire towards her and assaulted her. And at the time that I record this video, there hasn't been a single article about Afeni's story in mainstream media, but you can piece together what happened to her from TikTok.
Look, I can't give away the secret. I can't give it away. It's like the KFC recipe that they don't use anymore. They just want to put cement into their mix. Anyway, there's a secret technique, and I can tell you 100%, 15% of the time, boom, got him. Illegal. You can tell. I can tell at least. I'm just because I'm that good.
Afeni's story in mainstream media, but you can piece together what happened to her from TikTok. And even though she hasn't released a comment since she was arrested, the words that she said during her arrest are downright chilling, and everybody has to pay attention to what she has to say.
Afeni was lawfully recording
another illegal
between Metro Police and 3 DCU.
What papers, please?
Papers.
Sir, can I see your papers, please?
Within 5 minutes, they had drastically escalated, and they had put a boot in her face and sprayed her with pepper spray.
Well, you're illegal. Well, you're illegal. The woman, this woman in the small video is illegal. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No. What a hero.
This was as a result of Afeni and other DC
papers,
activists
miss. Can I see your papers, please?
At Navy Yard Metro Station, which is the metro station in Southeast DC.
You're probably illegal. Can I see your papers?
For them to be there to protect our children, to ensure that number one,
I'd love to listen to you. I just need to make sure that you're not illegal.
And that number two, they knew their rights
patriotic
in
duty.
the event they were confronted by the police department.
Okay.
But I want y'all to be left with her actual words for y'all to know what it is that is at stake, and especially with it being Black
an illegal
August
person.
Right now,
just saying,
understanding what it is going to take.
I want people to know that this is a fascist takeover in DC.
Yeah.
And that our youth are going to be directly impacted by this.
Get out of the way.
It doesn't fucking matter about me. I will be fine. Our kids will not be.
For the record, you are allowed to film and observe police officers, and they know that, which is why they lied about her. And even if they weren't lying, just assume for a moment that Afeni didn't pay her fare. Is it really warranted to tackle and pepper spray her for not paying a fucking fare? Is that a proportional punishment for the crime that they're making up here? Like, at least come up with a more serious crime or a better lie. But I mean, we're not talking about the most smartest people here. But I've talked about Afeni before, and this woman is a fucking hero. As she is blinded and pepper sprayed, she's warning people about the fascist takeover and the threat that it poses to people's children, particularly black and brown ones who are being targeted by Trump's brown shirts because of the hysteria that he's pushing around youth crime. So I salute her and individuals like her.
That means
because
it's bad.
she is quite literally on the front lines for the freedom that we have left. It is being preserved by people like her who are courageously putting their own bodies on the line to protect other people's freedoms.
For real,
now,
though.
thankfully,
True hero.
she has since been released, and I
Good
want
for
to
her.
show you the response that she got from her community, because as depressing and dark as this video is, the love that she got was genuinely touching.
Oh, that's great. That's great, dude. Yo, that's awesome, dude. That's great. Yeah. We should check a couple papers in the audience. I definitely see some illegal people in the audience. But, you know, probably check this woman right here in the center, probably check her papers. You know. Well, that's great. That's great. No, I'm going to start crying. It's beautiful. Hey, thank you, Seneca. Appreciate it. I'm a hardworking patriot.
I love to see all the love that she's
that's
getting.
beautiful.
It is actually touching. But
No, seriously, that is actually legitimately beautiful. Can we watch that one more time? I'm choking up a little bit. It's seriously beautiful. Well, let's watch that again.
this video is, the love that she got was genuinely touching.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh, man. Now you're going to make me tear up here. That's something else. That is something else.
I love to see all.
How about that? How about that? Well, I got to go get my kids, so we're going to end on a little bit of hope today. We're going to end on a little bit of hope. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Mike Figurino from the Humanist Report. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. How about that, right? You can get that daily in your algorithm, okay? Make sure you're liking and subscribing on that Mike Figurino content, the Humanist Report. Holding it down. He's been doing it for years. True professional. Extremely good at what he does. So thank you, Mike. Doing a great job. Big props to Lenny. Big props to Beery. I really love having Beery around. Love having that perspective, a woman's perspective. It's really great. Ponder Monkey. Big props. Blase. Big props. OGs. Regulators in the fucking chat. Seneca. Athena. You know how we do this. This is a motherfucking news underground. Realest motherfucking political channel on Twitch. Motherfuckers wish they could be this real, bitch. That's probably why they're more successful. Ice King of Space, big props. Strategy member, thank you for all your contributions in the Discord. Yeah, that's right. Real motherfucker. That's why I wear candy from the 80s on my t-shirt. I wear candy on my shirt. Candy paint. Big props, Blase. Absolute zero. Big props. So good to see everybody. All you lurkers, by the way, every lurker out there, thank you. Very big props to the lurkers. Much love to the lurkers. There be monsters. Big props to you. There be monsters. Salty Bread is good. Coolest name on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Big props. Lost on Earth. Thank you for your comments. Big props. Love to see all the regulators in the chat, all the OGs coming back, you know. And hey, you know, I guess I should start. Should I start self-promoting? I do have a YouTube. I do have a Discord. If you want to see any of that shit. Thank you. Big props to the folks who subscribed. A couple people subscribed. I finally got out of I was 16 for months. 16 for months. But if you want that shit on YouTube, we got it right here. So thank you. Thank you to the subscribers. Big props to Gaius and Corporate Fly. Thank you for coming in. Big props. Lots of self-loathing. That comes with the package. I want to be in the Discord. Oh, you got it. 1 second here. Yeah, we're it's a lot. It's just I set up the stream basically. So if you want to include some links, if you have something you want to show me, be sure to pop that in the Discord. There's your invite. All right, folks, I gotta go pick up my kid from daycare. I'm still a little too stoned, but we'll make it work. I'm totally sober, and I'm 100% sober. What am I talking about? I'm totally sober. I'm gonna go do this. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy, and let's not forget the 3-step program to create political change. Step 1, we inform ourselves. Step 2, we show up, sign up. And step 3, we put in the work. Because this ain't a fucking joke. Taking this shit seriously is a lifestyle, right? So we better get used to it. Start fighting now. Start getting used to the fight now. Like it or not, it's coming to your front door. Meet it head on. Take care of yourself. Let him drive.